because of a forecast, quite honestly. Now we're being told Oklahoma State's going to play early. The Cowboys, 2:30 kick tomorrow afternoon at Boone Pickens Stadium. It's homecoming day in Stillwater, big parade in the morning. And then the Cowboys and the Sun Devils, 2:30. Of course, that game here on K101, that means about an 12:30 pregame show. So having said all that, guys, let's talk a little Boomer football with Tyler, Eric, and Ely. Guys, we're not going to change Woodward Weatherford, I guess. You're set to play here in a little bit, right?
That's right, CJ. And some good-looking weather. Big cooler, obviously. Wind, not going to be necessarily a factor, but it's not bad in terms of the gusts. So should be a great night for some football there.
You know, Woodward obviously not where they thought they would be or wanted to be anyway. At this point, they're 1-7 with a couple of games left. Of course, the Eagles on the road tonight. They're in Weatherford, and then Elk City at home next week. Weatherford 6-2 on the year as they host the Boomers tonight. Tyler, what do the Boomers want to do tonight? Excuse me, to be successful?
Well, you know, with Weatherford, CJ, you've got a really tough physical team. They're going to rely on that run game between a few different guys. The quarterback, Stone Chisholm, lives up to that first name. He's tough as nails. At the running back position, you'll see a good dose of Jackson Blackman and Ty Short. That'd be a good 1-2 combo. They all three have about the same amount of yards on the ground, and really Stone Chisholm, quarterback, leads his offense. He'll put his head in there, and he'll be able to pass it every once in a while. So for the Boomers, it's about matching that physicality on the road. It's senior night in Weatherford. This crowd, this team's going to get up for that and try to go get one for this group of seniors that's honestly had a lot of success in their career.
Ely roaming the sidelines tonight. Ely, a fun night to hear. A nice night for high school football. It's been kind of toasty most of the season, toasty and or windy, but a nice night to be on the sidelines with the Boomers.
Yeah, something I was kind of thinking about earlier when I got down here. I was looking at the calendar, saw it was November 1st, and it was nice and not cold, not hot, but it's perfect football weather here November 1st. I don't need the hoodie, but I got one on just in case it gets a little cold. But no, it's beautiful out here, and I can't wait to watch this football game.
Woodward at Weatherford tonight, obviously on Z92, that's 92.3, as well as Boomer TV. We'll step aside, take a quick break here. When back in time, we'll slide you Z92 folks over to the Boomer pregame with Tyler, Eric, and Ely, and we'll return and talk with some coaches across the tri-state here on the 10th week of high school football on a football Friday night.
Weatherford tonight. The Boomers on the road air for that last road test of the season against the Weatherford Eagles. Should be a good one. This is a Weatherford team that overall comes in with a lot of momentum. 6-2 on the season. Their only blemish is to Elgin, and a team that obviously Elgin's taking care of everybody. So I don't know if you can necessarily hold that against Weatherford when it comes to district play. And with that, Eric, this is a really tough Weatherford team. A lot of the guys that we've seen over the last couple of years step up for them are back. We talk about Stone Chisholm, the quarterback, great two-way player for him, also a star linebacker. C.J. Nixon, obviously the big guy, the Division I talent, committed to OU, going to play football there at defensive end, a four-star recruit. Might play a little basketball as well. You'll see him more on the defensive side tonight. We'll see where Weatherford puts him. Not necessarily guaranteed to play that end spot. Sometimes they'll split him out in the corner because he is a good enough athlete. He can cover your best guy. But this is a Weatherford team that's feeling good about where they're at in the season right now.
Yeah, it's a Weatherford team, and they don't do a whole lot of fancy stuff. They'll just kind of, pick up everything they can, and then all of a sudden when they have an opportunity, they'll go for the top. And, they're not a super flashy team, but, these kids a lot of these guys have played together for several years now. They're an experienced team, a veteran team, kind of like you mentioned. So,
Weatherford senior night, of course, it's their last home game of the season. So it's a decently large group of seniors that want to be able to perform. You're going to have to deal with that if you're the Boomers as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And they've got a lot on the line too. They still have an opportunity to get the second spot in the district. How things play out, and they need a win or two. So they've got a lot to be playing for as well, because they want to be able to come home for the first playoff game.
And you mentioned that, looking at those 4A standing, Elgin is on top of it in District 1, 8-0 overall, 5-0 in district play. Weatherford and Clinton both 4-1 in district play, but Weatherford does have that head-to-head win over the Red Tornado. Weatherford 6-2 on the season, Clinton 7-1. Then you get to Bridge Creek actually holding down that 4th spot with the win over Woodward last week. They sit at 3-2 in district, 3-5 overall. Elk City currently 3-5 overall, but 2-3 in district play. Then you've got Woodward at 1-4 in district play, ahead of Cash. Both teams 1-7, and Douglas 1-7 overall, but winless in district play tonight. The other district games going on beside this one in Class 4A1 would be Elk City at Bridge Creek. So we'll see how that kind of solidifies, right? But this is a Woodward team. I know it was a tough loss, right? But this is a Woodward team. I know it was a tough loss last week during homecoming. You started that slow start. You make the comeback against Bridge Creek, and then they just kind of pull away at the end. But again, we keep seeing these flashes of some really good football for Woodward overall.
Yeah, I was talking to somebody actually this afternoon about that, and it really feels like if the Boomers can figure out a way to put we've talked about this on the broadcast, put a full game together. We've seen it multiple times through multiple games where they do things well, and I think that, again, one thing that we ran into last week, with Bridge Creek was the experience Bridge Creek had. Man, when you're tired, it's hard to say that. The experience that Bridge Creek has as far as, their offensive line, things like that. And, I think as the game went along, the depth of the Boomers kind of got to them a little bit yet again, and so the Boomers have an opportunity to come out tonight and, know that we don't have an opportunity for a playoff spot. So, the Boomers have an opportunity to still play for something by messing somebody else's season up, and, the Boomers, we have 2 games now for them to come out, do everything they can, get a little bit, and show some stuff that they can do going into the offseason, heading into next year.
Definitely want to find that leaping point, no doubt. And Ely, for you, you've been in the situation on both sides of this coin, right, where you're that team trying to host the playoff game or at least solidify your playoff stand. You've also been on, one of those squads where, hey, we're just trying to finish the regular season strong and build on something, so you are trying to play spoiler. So when you're in that, mode of wanting to play spoiler, especially on the road, how do you try to lock into that? Do you just have to have the supreme confidence in yourself? What do you got to do for your Woodward tonight to be able to come out and say, okay, we can compete with the Eagles?
I think the biggest thing is to...
Oh, we had you, Ely. I don't know if you... What we got there? Oh, maybe you've caught some interference.
Yeah.
All right, so that was a bit awkward. Sorry about that. I think we got a little interference on the PA there, but we were going to get to that. Anyways, but I bring all that up because when you look at this series, Eric, you know, we've talked about this with some other instances like Clinton, for example. Weatherford's kind of had a dominant edge so far, 21-9 in the last 30 matchups. That stayed back to 1931. Weatherford's won the last 10. It's the last decade's worth of games. The last win that Woodward has had was in 2013. They actually shut out the Eagles 34-0 during district play in that. And it was kind of interesting on the coach's show this week talking to Coach Gordon. You know, he mentioned at one point last year the team was mentioning guys like C.J. Nix, you know, Stone Chisholm going, oh man, they're so good. There was kind of that mental edge even before the game that Weatherford had. This week, he said he hadn't heard that, you know, that name C.J. Nixon one time in practice, and it's been that good practice. So just from the mental standpoint, it seems like Woodward might give them
the mindset of, you know, everybody's better than us and all this kind of stuff. Now they're kind of getting into that, hey, we're going to go out there, we're going to do our thing. We're going to do what we do well. We're going to do everything we can to compete as Boomers, as our team, and not as worried about what they do and what they put out on the field.
And Ely, let's see if we can try this again one more time without catching some interference with PA there. As you were trying to make the point of, when you are that player that's wanting to play spoiler, how do you get into that mindset? Oh, okay, we'll wait on him a bit. He's giving us a hand signal, so we'll work on that. But looking around the area a little bit, talking about, you know, games going on tonight as well. A lot of teams in the middle of their playoff races in Northwest Oklahoma. Moreland has got road tests in Southwest Covington. Sealing hosting Boise City currently. And Shared Mutual is at Tyrone. Fairview hosts Sayre, Alva, and Meeker. So just a few of those kind of Woodward area teams in the heat of their playoff battle. Shared Mutual is kind of one of those, a little bit out of it right now, but, you know, wanting to finish strong. And, of course, the full Tri-State action. Kansas already entered playoffs. They've started this week. So you got a couple of those games under their belt last night with some of our area teams. Texas, similar to Oklahoma, into their final couple of weeks. But it's always fun to see some of those playoff races, even if you're not necessarily in it, Eric, come down to the wire in some cases and see what emerges do. And, of course, if you want the full look at the Tri-State, keep up with all the scores tonight. K101's got you covered with Friday Night Quick Scores, CJ Montgomery, and the crew on that. Couple college updates, things moving around because there's some weather coming into the area late tonight into tomorrow as far as showers, thunderstorms. Shouldn't affect our game by any stretch, but both Oklahoma and Oklahoma State have actually moved up their kickoff times. Oklahoma was scheduled to kick at 1:30 against Maine. That is now going to be an 11 o'clock kickoff. Still be here on Z92, pregame coverage, be about 8 o'clock. Oklahoma State, we just got word from CJ, is moving their kickoff time from 6 to 2:30. So homecoming there, not going to be under the lights for the Cowboys as they host Arizona State. So that will be a 2:30 kickoff pregame coverage on K101 at 12:30. Just wanted to get that out there. With that, we'll step aside for a break, come back, talk about some other things going on in Boomer Athletics and get you closer to the start of this one between the Woodward Boomers and the Weatherford Eagles. You're listening on Z92 and Boomer TV.
With chapters of love, laughter, and dreams for the future. But what if one day you will not get the next chapter? Life is unpredictable, but your love for your family shouldn't be. With State Farm Life Insurance, Bill Matthews and Woodward can help ensure your story continues, even when we're not there to turn the page.
Who can solve this equation?
Ooh! Me.
Anyone else? Fine. Jake from State Farm. Again.
Right. It's the personal price plan theorem. If you bundle your home and auto, that can equal an affordable price just for you. Bundling. Just another way to save with the personal price plan. Like a good neighbor.
There's nothing like being from Western Oklahoma. It's family and community. It's spring storms and winter wheat. It's fall football and summer baseball. And there's one bank that really understands our area. Bank of Western Oklahoma. We've been locally owned from the beginning, and we still are. When you need a bank that understands your unique life, choose Bank of Western Oklahoma, the bank that works as hard as you do. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Tires are put to the test every day, everywhere around the world. Michelin invents the tire that stays safe even worn with unique EverGrip technologies. New Michelin Premier, safe when new, safe when worn.
This back-to-school season, give your home the connection it deserves with Go Pioneer Fiber Internet. Experience the power of Wi-Fi 6 technology for smoother streaming, gaming, and learning. And with the Go Pioneer Smart Wi-Fi app, managing your home network is a breeze. Choose from multiple plans with symmetrical speeds for lightning-fast uploads and downloads. Get your family school-ready with Go Pioneer Fiber Internet. Sign up today at gopioneer.com.
Tired of complicated Wi-Fi management? Go Pioneer Smart Wi-Fi makes it easy.
The dance team, nationally has been outstanding, not just within the state, cheer team as well. Always great to watch. They have that dance program has produced pros there, literal pros, girls that have gone on to, now be with professional teams, and that's crazy to think that they've been able to be that.
Well, I can't remember the exact time on that off the top of my head.
7:30.
7:30?
Yeah.
So football that, now that they're heading to their competitions, what we can do to support them would be awesome.
It will be November 9th. That's a week from tomorrow in Yukon with Yukon Open. Actually on the road, if you will, for their first couple of events. And then they'll have that first home duel on December 5th against Watauga. That's not only a high school duel, middle school as well. They're doing the field house, 6 o'clock. That's a Thursday, December 5th. So keep that in mind. That Weatherford, that wrestling team has been really good as well over the last few years. And I think Coach Weatherhead that's just simply trying to be the spoiler. So as a player, how do you approach that mindset knowing, okay, maybe we aren't playing for the postseason, but we could still do some things.
Next thing is just playing with pride.
Still do some things.
Next thing is just playing with pride. I mean, obviously you haven't had the best season, the season you want, but you still be prideful in the work that you've put in. You guys have worked hard. You guys have worked hard. It doesn't show that record, but you just come out here and don't let. I mean, they got the big name in C.J. Nixon. They got a good squad here.
Type of style on the offensive line, mix of seniors and juniors with Elijah Raji, Lucas Bird, Braden Huff, Isaiah Raji, and Cutler Rollins. That's left tackle through the right tackle there, and that's a line that's not the biggest, but they're agile, they're mean, they'll get down in those trenches and really move people off the ball. And then of course on the outside, a good trio of weapons in Nick Jett, C.J. Nixon, who will play probably a little less than half the offensive staff, but can be very impactful when he's in there. And then, of course, Cy Scamahorn, a guy that you get to watch out for in the open field. He can get those end rounds, and he can find some space in the flats and some of those drags and whatnot. So it's an offense, Eric, that's not flashy, but definitely has some of those big-time threats.
Yeah, really, you talked about C.J. Nixon's only going to play, maybe 50% of the offensive snaps, but kind of about halfway. But that's what he provides us, that big body when you need a possession type of throw for 5 or 6 yards that you can throw it up to him. He's got that big body, big old. I mean, he's got some massive hands. I don't know how close you've seen him, Tyler.
Yeah.
I remember last year in basketball seeing how big his hands are. And that's just kind of the threat that he adds that kind of can help them keep moving the ball down the field.
Well, to that point, go back a couple years ago when he was a couple inches shorter, not quite as lanky as he is now. And I remember then against Woodward had a couple big grabs where he was just able to kind of claw the ball.
Yeah, he just kind of went up over the top of somebody and pulled it in. So
let's pause here for the national anthem coming to. There was the Weatherford Marching Band with the national anthem. And back to kind of what we're talking about, Eric, as we continue to work through those starting lineups, looking at the defensive side now for Weatherford. It's going to be C.J. Nixon on that end. You're going to have to deal with Austin Burkeen at nose guard and Jordan Martinez at tackle. And then those linebackers we've already talked about a little bit. You got Steel Chisholm, a couple of seniors there, Reno Hammonds and Cash Jennings. That front seven, really tough to deal with, really athletic, and guys that just play some good football. All of them seniors with the exception of Birkin, who's a sophomore, and Martinez, who's a junior.
Yeah, you talk about the athleticism that they have. Most of those guys play multiple sports. It's not just football. And so they use the skills. They use the skills that they pick up in other sports as well. On the football field and vice versa. I'm a big advocate of being able to play multiple sports because you pick up different things and you utilize them differently. If we talk to our buddy back here, Ely, he likes to stand in the corner and shoot threes. I'm sure he picked up that somehow on the football field, but but again, like I said, it's just Weatherford has a bunch of athletes, and they just know how to do things to the point where they can get the job done. And I think their record shows that.
And looking on the Woodward side, just highlighting, the same there as far as no big injuries for the Boomers. So everything intact with what we've been seeing. And really, I think the focal point tonight is going to be that offensive line, right? We know the defensive line, that front seven, could be really solid. We've seen that. But how can the offensive line try to hold up that barrage of the Weatherford front seven? That's going to be the big key, I think, Eric, in my mind, when you look at it. How will that Boomer offensive line hold up? You hope you see what you saw a little bit against Bridge Creek in that second and third quarter. We had some really good holes rolling, right, for Cooper Latalia. You had time for Ryan Douglas Fisher to throw the ball. I hate to be simplistic and cliche, but it's in the trenches tonight. That's where the matchup is.
Yeah, well, and like you said, we've seen it at times throughout the year where, those young guys are, kind of starting to get the veteran presence to them, in the way they play and, starting to do things smart. The last week we saw our penalties go way down, and I think it's just those guys gaining the confidence. And whenever you are picking up positive plays, as an offensive lineman, you can kind of be like, hey, that's a lot of that comes from what I've been able to do, and that just kind of gives you that confidence moving forward.
And I'll give Boomer TV, one of the producers here, Chris Godwin, credit for this one. We were talking a little bit off air before it, what they do with C.J. Nixon defensively. Do they keep him at defensive end? Do they move him out to corner to maybe guard a Colt Moore on the edge? Because we know C.J.'s athletic enough to do that. I think that's interesting. It will be telling to see how Weatherford plays this, because if they believe that their best option is to lock down a Colt Moore, take away that deep threat area, would be a C.J. Nixon, then the Boomers are going to have to find a way to maybe generate some of that offense elsewhere. Not saying that Colt can't get around C.J. That's a tough one to share.
Well, and, you know, something we didn't see as much last week that we've seen in other games is, you know, is them finding Jake Graff kind of in the middle of the field, kind of in that, you know, especially when a team is in his zone defense. And Jake has done a great job of finding those spots, those open areas. You know, and is that something that's going to kind of pop up tonight? We also saw Luke Talley get into the passing game a little bit more on the offensive side. We know what Luke can do defensively as a safety. He can come in there and do some things, but we saw him more on the offensive side last week than we have seen, you know, throughout the early part of the season. So is that, you know, is that a third option now that is going to kind of help the Boomers out just that much more?
And we just had the coin toss at center field. Weatherford won the toss. They deferred. Woodward will receive to start the ball game. So we'll see that Woodward offense first, and we'll see the Boomers try to match and go toe-to-toe with that Weatherford defense. Boomers, of course, wearing the all-whites on the road tonight. Got the white tops, white bottoms, the black numbers and text, and a black helmet with some white numbers and a logo there. Weatherford decked out a little bit of that mix of the black, the red, and the silver. So kind of like that little mix. You got the black jerseys, silver pants, some striping in red, the numbers text also in red, and the silver helmets for the Eagles tonight. But guys, as we look to some of those final keys before we get to the kickoff here, talked about being in the trenches, talked about it being, of course, you know, what do they do with C.J. Nixon? What's something else that sticks out in your mind that the Boomers have to do tonight to be able to give themselves a chance to win?
Yeah, I think something is run the ball effectively like they were last week. Last week was kind of the first week we'd seen Cooper Littall, you know, have multiple carries of over 10 yards. So I think being able to get that run game going can kind of tie back to what y'all were talking about with C.J. Nixon as to where he plays. And if we can get the run game going, he might bump down on that D-line, and then that may open up some passing opportunities if we can get the pass protection that we need. So I think just identifying that run game early and getting some early stops on defense is the big key to really staying in this game for the long term.
Yeah, and that defensive secondary, you know, Nick Jett, Scott Samuel-Horn, the two top corners, seniors, but smaller guys, 5'9" apiece, about $150. So got the speed, but maybe don't have the size to match with a Colt Moore or a Jake Graff. As the Boomers take the field, you hear the Weatherford crowd getting fired up. But Eric, for you, you know, what's the most that sticks out in your mind here to be able for Woodward to? Is it those penalties? I mean, is it something that you really want to see from them tonight?
Yeah, and penalties, yes, that's kind of one thing that, you know, kind of just to continue to see them play disciplined football.
Right.
You know, as a team that's growing, you got a lot of young kids playing between freshmen and sophomores. It takes a lot of time for them to settle down. And we've started to see that, you know, really against Bridge Creek and, you know, even against Clinton for the first part of the Clinton game. You didn't see a lot of penalties then by the Boomers. You know, seeing them continue to slow down, be more disciplined, and play, you know, within the game plan that, you know, their coaches put forward to them. You know, they're not at the point yet where they can do a lot of their own stuff, if that makes sense. You know, where they're creating and things like that. You know, but we're getting closer. We're getting there to the point where, you know, if they can put that the next two games, kind of get that discipline down going into next year, there's going to be a lot more creativity you're going to see to the offense, I think.
Absolutely. Great Plains Bank, Heritage, Trust, Respect. Those are the things that make Great Plains Bank great. Deep roots across Oklahoma and Texas. They are in touch with the communities in which their customers live and work. Also Compass Athletics, from sports equipment to championship trophies and everything in between. Visit them 2024 Main Street in Woodward or call 580-256-7045. Great Plains Bank, Compass Athletics, powering Boomer Sports on Boomer TV and at KMZE FM Woodward throughout the season. And you know, you mentioned that creativity, Eric, offensively that could be developing in the offseason, right? We had Coach our offensive coordinator as well as Coach Smith, defense coordinator, on the coach's show this week to go with Coach Gordon. And, you know, they had talked about making that transition from the college game to the high school game and just, you know, having that realization kind of through last year. Hey, you've got kids that you may be building from ground zero in the game of football, whereas college you had guys that came in, for the most part, know how to play football. So they've gotten better, they feel like, trying to relate to, you know, the communication skills of building up those players, right, and communicating what needs to be done properly. And I think we've seen that this season. I know the wins haven't showed it, but it feels like it's been a lot more competitive this year because we've seen that progress.
Yeah, and that's kind of why it's been so important to see, you know, Coach Gordon get involved even at the 3rd and 4th grade level, 5th and 6th grade levels, you know, and all of those guys are really around, you know, all the practices and games and things like that, is because, you know, they're able to help continue to coach those kids up instead of starting them in 7th and 8th grade. You know, they're able to start them at a younger age, and so when they get to 7th and 8th grade, they're able to take that next step.
And we're ready to kick this one off. Weatherford out there, Woodward out there. The deep returner, Colt Moore by himself, standing at about the 5-yard line as the ball in the air, and we are underway. As Moore runs up to about the 15, fields it, races that 25-30, trying to burst through, gets to the 40. Ooh, did the ball come out late? Weatherford's trying to say the ball came out late. I think they got him down, though.
I think if the ball came out, it looked like the ball came out when he hit the ground.
Yeah.
But I never even saw the ball pop out.
And the refs really didn't flinch. So the Boomers take over out there on 40. Another good return from Colt Moore, no surprise. He's been really dynamic in that return game.
Yeah, Colt Moore came in and made that catch on the run. You know, kind of caught it in stride, which is what you like to see. You know, unfortunately, kind of outran a couple of his blockers. But great, you know, another great job. He's such a threat, you know, both, you know, on the offensive side, but in the kicking game.
Douglas Fisher in the gun. Littall beside him. Man goes in motion. It's graph cross formation. They'll hand it to Littall on 1st and 10. And not much doing there for Cooper as he gets to the line of scrimmage, and that's about it. Tried to go with that dive play. We saw that work to good effect last week, but it took a while, guys, to get that going. It really was the second quarter when that opened up.
Yeah, absolutely, and it kind of goes back to, you know, the offensive line kind of getting that confidence, knowing what they can and can't do, you know, against the guys standing in front of them. And, you know, as you get into the game, they start figuring that out, and that's going to open up a little bit more.
2nd and 10 for the Boomers. Douglas Fisher in the gun. 2 receivers right side, 1 to the left. Got a tight end right side as well in the motion. Give it back to Littall. This time finds a little bit more space, fighting forward to the 45-yard line. Big gain of 5 on 2nd down. Set up 3rd and medium. And this is something, again, in talking with Coach Harvey this past week, was kind of a, you know, he wanted to focus on this, is staying ahead of those chains or staying on the schedule. And we've seen a lot of situations where, whether it be a penalty or just a random kind of negative play on a 2nd and 3rd down, that the Boomers have been set up with those 3rd and longs. Now you got to capitalize on a makeable chance here. 3rd and 5, 10:45 to go in the first quarter, just underway. First possession for the Boomers. Douglas Fisher in the gun again. Takes the handoff, now rolls to the right side, looking for a man short. It is caught to the 50, has the first down, and the Boomers move into Weatherford territory on the little nice play action development. See who made that catch there for the Boomers. It looked like it was Austin Rowland.
Yeah,
tight end.
It's really kind of the first time we've seen that. Great job by Ryan Douglas Fisher to sell the handoff. Cooper, you know, took it and did what he could, allowed Ryan to kind of roll out and, you know, kind of hit him in stride.
Yeah, and Rowland just running that little flat, nice little route, made the catch. 1st and 10 for the Boomers at the Weatherford 47. 10-10 remaining first quarter, still scoreless. Douglas Fisher in the gun, puts Colt Moore in motion behind him, fakes the handoff to Littall, trying to look for the screen pass, and a little flat to Colt Moore, and it's not there, and Douglas Fisher just kind of smartly throws in the dirt.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that may have been intended to go on a little bubble screen. Kind of Jake Graff came around, Jake got taken out at the line of scrimmage, and, you know, and so Ryan just kind of threw it away into a hole, not to cause any major issues with potentially throwing an interception.
2nd and 10 for the Boomers, still at the Weatherford 47. Douglas Fisher in the gun, 1 man to his right, short side, 2 receivers and a tight end to the left, as well as Littall in the backfield. Snap, a touch high, they handle Littall on 2nd and 10, and that run not going anywhere as Littall will lose a yard back to the 48, and it will be 3rd and 11 for the Boomers. As, again, that defensive line, Ely, it's tough to dig through. We talked about it in the pregame. That's a stout squad.
Yeah, and it's tough to play against a Bridge Creek team and then have to come and play these Weatherford guys. You know, you've been kind of used to playing against those guys, and you come in here and get whacked by a team with a lot of experience.
That they do have. 3rd 11 for the Boomers. Douglas Fisher, empty set, trips and a tight end to the left side, one single man to the right. Douglas Fisher back to pass, looking one-on-one for Moore, and that pass off the mark as Moore had a step inside, it looked like, on maybe Scammahorn, and it was, and it would be incomplete to bring up 4th and 11.
That's something we've seen, you know, a lot where, you know, Colt's kind of the go-to guy, but a lot of times him and Ryan have not kind of been on the same page, and you know, that's yet again, Colt goes to the inside. Ryan kind of goes a little bit more to the sideline, you know, and just causes an incomplete pass.
So Jay Graff on to punt. This will be back in his own territory, about the 38. This one high, kind of into the wind. Good roll, bounces inside the 10. It's picked up on the bounce, and Levi Harris, the first man there. The rest of the Boomers clobber the returner. They give him forward progress to the 10. Try to see who that was. Looked like Nick Jett it was for the Eagles. And tried to get off the bounce, but boy, Levi Harris just racing down there.
We've talked about on the broadcast in the past how strong Levi Harris is. Levi reached out there, just kind of grabbed him. Looked like he tried to grab the ball. I don't know if he actually got a hold of the ball, got a hold of his arm, and then Austin Orland went in there and kind of finished him off with a bunch of other Boomers.
So 1st and 10 for the Eagles. See their offense for the first time, as it will be still Chisholm, the quarterback. He'll be in the gun. Trips to his left, nobody to his right, but a tight end and a running back. Go with the snap. It's a handoff to Blackman trying to find the hole on the outside. Bounces off one Boomer as Harris initial contact, and Blackman gets to the line of scrimmage and gains just a yard as Harris able to stand him up. A couple Boomers finish him off.
Yeah, Bo Morton and Trip Bates also in on the play to finish it off. Great job by the Boomers. Just you know, again, you like to see on that initial contact, you like to see us get a little bit more. A little bit more as far as wrapping them up, you know. That's because that's one thing that's hurt the Boomers this year is not bringing them down the first or second contact, you know. But
2nd and 9, Chisholm back to pass quickly in the gun. Now we'll try to take off. Got a block on the edge. Makes a man miss around the 14. Gets the first down across the 20 near the 25-yard line. And it wasn't necessarily the fastest run by Stone Chisholm, but again shows a bit of that looseness and craftiness. That's why he's their leading rusher.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, Eric, right on cue, you was just talking about the not being able to get him down first contact, second contact. I think he broke 3 tackles on the way to get that first down, so the Boomers just need to try to get either wrap up better or try to get more bodies on the quarterback.
Chisholm, a linebacker. He's not weak, folks. That man is in the weight room, I promise you. So 1st and 10 for Weatherford at the 24-yard line, their own 24. Chisholm hands it off on an end around. Flag does come out as runner able to get to the 25. Looks like that one, the Scammahorn on the carry. We mentioned him being able to take some of those end arounds. See what the flag is. Only gain of a yard on the play.
I think this is going to be holding on C.J. Nixon.
Really?
Looked like Levi Harris.
Legal shift.
Oh, legal shift.
Okay, that's what they'll take. So movement as Scammahorn was coming around on the motion.
I was wrong.
I mean, I didn't see the second guy moving.
At least you can finally admit it.
Wow. I didn't see the second guy moving. But I want to go back to the previous play, you know, where we talked about all those missed tackles. It's almost like the Boomers, you know, instead of taking a couple extra steps before they try to make the hit, they're diving at the runner's feet. You know, if they just take a couple extra steps, probably have a better chance of wrapping people up.
So 1st and 15 for Weatherford. Another handoff. This one gets to about the 19-yard line to the line of scrimmage. And again, that one, Blackman on the carry. And Blackman not having much success early against the Boomers, as it'll be 2nd and 15. So far, at least on the handoffs, Woodward able to do a good job.
Yeah, but like I kind of mentioned during the pregame, you know, this is what Weatherford likes to do. They're going to kind of push it, you know, kind of plays here and there, and then all of a sudden they're going to try to do something over the top.
Chisholm in the gun, a receiver, tight end, running back to the right, one man to the left, and the flag comes out pre-snap.
There's about 5 guys that were going before the ball was ever snapped. I think that this might be, you know, the problem may be on the center here.
Yes, it is. Kind of looked like, was that OU that had a similar situation a couple weeks back? Where everybody went but the center. So, yes, it is a false start, backing up 5. So, Weatherford, a couple early penalties here. Do have the first down, but they're all the way back to the 14. This drive started on the 10. They have to get all the way to the 34 right now for the first. 2nd and 20 for the Eagles. 7 minutes remains in this first quarter. It's time flying by. Chisholm in the gun again. Receiver each side. Tight end right side goes for Nixon. Call it the 20 on the short stop, and Nixon just lowers his shoulder. Tries to fight over 3 Boomers. All of them able to slow him down. Nixon still getting to the 26, and that's a guy who's realized he's pretty strong as a senior and is trying to use it.
That's one thing you like to see when someone like him gets the ball. There was 3 people right there at once. Kind of know that it's going to be tough to bring that kid down with just one person. So good job by the Boomers to get him down as quick as possible.
We talked about Mason Ward throughout the year and how when he gets going downhill, he just does everything he can. He's the one who took that shot from C.J. Nixon.
So 3rd and 8 after the 12-yard gain as Chisholm tries to hand off on the wing option. Boomers have it marked up in the backfield. That time it was short on the carry, and a host of Boomers got to him, and it's going to be a loss and a 4th down, and it's going to be a Boomer defensive stand. And again, this time, on those run plays, guys, outside the Chisholm scramble, Woodward's been all over it. They've snuffed it out.
Yeah, and again, this is by far one of the better defensive series we've seen, as with the exception of against the Douglas or somebody like that, where everybody just seemed to kind of be doing their job. They didn't try to do too much. They were just getting to the ball and doing everything they could to bring down the ball carrier.
Now we got a timeout taken by Woodward as they had to run a guy on late for the punt return. And Coach Gordon wants to make sure they get all lined up. R5 Customer Embroidery. When you work with R5, you can count on a quick, fun, and enjoyable process with the results that consistently exceed your expectations. Come chat with their screen printing experts about customized apparel. Visit them 817 Main Street, Woodward, or call 580-256-3579. Western Drug, 1021 Main Street in Oklahoma, 1021 Oklahoma Avenue in Woodward. They've got friendly and caring staff and a drive-through window that is awfully convenient. Always excellent service. Call 580-256-5586. Western Drug, R5, powering Boomer Sports this season. As Woodward out of the timeout, ready to field this punt return, getting that defensive stand, that Pioneer defensive stand. That's Cooper Littall back deep to return this one, sitting at inside his own 35 at about the 34. 5:37 remains first quarter, still scoreless. Each team forced to punt. There's a snap on target, and that one a bit of a low one, almost blocked by the Boomers. It's going to bounce to Littall, going to back off of it as he had a Eagle coming to him. This one rolls inside the 30 to the 27, and that's where it's down on the punt by Jake Crisp, the senior. So that one was closely blocked. You jump on it.
No, I don't. I'm kind of confused as to how it wasn't blocked. I was ready to. I was looking in the end zone to see the ball where it was going, and then it got off somehow.
Yeah, I wonder if they are still dealing with. Because we talked to Coach Gordon. I can't remember if we talked about it on the coach's show, if it was after the coach's show, or so they're talking. About going in and blocking punts and things like that.
That was on the coach's show.
Where it still feels like they're kind of timid. They're worried about,
smacking the punter.
Yeah, and so just the fact that they're getting the penetration, is something that is a real encouraging sign.
So Douglas Fisher in the gun, empty set. He'll have 2 receivers tight end to his left, 2 receivers to his right. It's going to go with the QB draw. Has a bit of a hole. Gets to the 30, to the 32, 33-yard line before he's taken down. Solid little gain on first down. Should be a gain of 6. Sitting up 2nd and 4.
I think that hole was kind of closed up by his own guy on the ground. But great job by Ryan to recognize that where he initially wanted to go, there was nothing there. And he just took the holes that he could get.
And a good job by the line to fan that one out as well, as it will be 2nd and 4 for the Boomers. 4:55 remains first quarter. Still scoreless. So Woodward at their own 33. Douglas Fisher, gun, has 2 receivers, tight end, running back to his left, 1 receiver more to his right. Littall goes in motion, faking the ball screen again. Douglas Fisher just takes off, gets to the 40, gets the block, 50, 45, 40 into Weatherford territory before he's tackled out of bounds inside the 40 for a big first down for the Boomers.
And that's what Ryan, we've talked about. We haven't really been able to see it much this year, but that's what the added that speed that Ryan Douglas Fisher has is a lot of the reason why he was put back in there. Quarterback was able to kind of move when the offensive line was struggling so much. And, now that they're opening things up, it's just another piece of the Boomer offense that they can use.
28-yard sprint by Douglas Fisher. 1st and 10 at the Weatherford 39. Douglas Fisher in the gun. Goes with the handoff to Littall. Bit of a counter play. Littall fighting across the 40. Gets back to the line of scrimmage, but that's it. See both teams be tough on those inside runs so far from the running backs. 4:20 remains first quarter. Still scoreless. Woodward with a 2nd and 10 upcoming. As they'll get those signs from Coach Harvey on the sideline. Douglas Fisher in the gun. Has 2 receivers to the left. Boomers running a late swap as Rowland will come on for the Boomers. Play clock at 10. Still plenty of time for him to get lined up. He'll be on the right side of the formation as well as Colt Moore. Littall on the backfield. They fake the handoff. Rolling left side is Douglas Fisher looking for the deep shot. 1-on-1 down the sideline. That's incomplete. Intended for Luke Talley. Looked like Sky Samerhorn all over him and able to break that one up.
Yeah, I think Luke kind of anticipated that being underthrown a little bit, which is something we have seen, in the past from Ryan, as a lot of those deep passes do tend to get underthrown. But, we've also seen the past couple of weeks that he's gotten the ball a lot more where he wanted to go with it. We're not seeing them as much overthrown. We saw great where he dropped it in there.
The best throw we've ever seen him.
Yeah, and I think in that he put the ball exactly where he wanted to there. It's just unfortunately Luke turned around anticipating an underthrow.
3rd and 10, Douglas Fisher in the gun. Looks to the right side, scrambling to that side, fires it near the sideline. Caught, no, incomplete. Intended again for Luke Talley, who tried to go to the ground and be able to haul that one in. So another 4th down coming for Woodward. 4th and 10, interesting spot here. You're a little bit more forward, not quite field goal range. We'll see if they either pooch punt or maybe you just try to go for it.
I got to think this is going to be a pooch punt situation. But you never know. We've been able to do some things. It may be one of those situations, too, where, it's all up to Ryan. It's, if Ryan sees it and he can take it, he goes. But if not, he pooch punts it.
Douglas Fisher in the gun, trips right side, 1 left, and there is the pooch punt. And that one spiraling inside the 10, bouncing and rolling, and fielded by a Weatherford returner right the last second. Boomers all over him around that 10-yard line. Trying to see who caught that one. It was Jett, who had sunk back there, the regular return man, and tried to surprise the Boomers, but to really no avail as Weatherford takes over deep in their own territory this time at their 11.
This is something different we've seen. Both times Weatherford's gotten the ball, they've been deep in their own territory. We're at least getting far enough down the field where they don't get the ball at midfield. So that's something good to see from the offense. So like early in this game,
you're not capitalizing on the drives yet, but to your point, you're at least winning that field position battle.
Gives the Weatherford offense more to work towards. They don't have just 40 yards to get; they got 90, 85 yards to go.
Easier to stall out a drive when there's more yards, right? So 1st and 10 for the Eagles, own 11. Stone Chisholm in at quarterback, has a couple of backs around him, 2 receivers right, 1 left. They'll fake the handoff. Chisholm looking the pass, looking over the middle, caught by Nixon. Pass space, 25-30. Shakes man at the 35. Mason Moore tracking him down, but Nixon dragging him to near midfield, to near the 45-yard line. And you can't let C.J. Nixon get loose.
I think, just before I get to what I was going to say, Mason's doing everything he can, and I think he realized if I could just keep driving him out of bounds, we're not gonna, he's not gonna break it. But I recognize the fact that CJ just kind of creeped out there and moved across the field. Burner's got to do a better job. Ely mentioned it a little bit ago, knowing exactly where he is at.
Yeah, even if he's not playing, all the snaps, he's playing half, whatever. Anytime 88's there, you got to bring him on.
It looks like there was a flag as well.
Oh, yes, there was. So add another 15 yards as it's to the 40. It didn't see the flag. Must have looked away on it. So it was a 34-yard pass plus 15. Puts Weatherford all the way to the Boomer 4th time in Boomer territory for the Eagles today. 3:05 left in the first quarter.
That goes back to that discipline thing. The Boomers have got to do a better job of being a more disciplined football team.
Chisholm in the gun. Man goes in motion across formation. Fakes the handoff. Looking short. Has his man out of the backfield. Completed near the 30-yard line. Wrapped up by Mason Arnold before he's taken down. Looked like on that one, Cashin Skinner. And Skinner able to get to the 29-yard line is where they mark him, so a gain of 11, another first down for the Eagles. That one, Skinner just kind of leaking out of the backfield. But a short pass turned into a good game. Now Weatherford with a little bit more tempo. Chisholm under center. Man, the backfield short. 2 receivers right side as well as a tight end. Nixon on the left. They'll hand it to short. Shakes a man. It was Levi Harris in the backside of the line of scrimmage. And then the Boomers rally to him and push him down for about a gain of 3. But again, Levi right there just couldn't quite make the play behind the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, Levi Harris, Drip Bates, I think, is the one who kind of caught him at the line and allowed a couple other guys to come in. You know, Levi Harris, him getting into the backfield the way he did, kind of disrupted the momentum that Weatherford had there on the run. That's huge. Just because he didn't get the tackle, putting himself in an opportunity that he's still disrupting the play.
Under 2 minutes to go now in the first quarter. Down to a minute 50, still scoreless. Chisholm in the pistol. 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. They'll hand it off inside, though. Has a hole 20 to the 15 and finally chopped down. That one was Blackman as he gets all the way to the 16-yard line. It's just that little inside gut play. We've seen that hurt the Boomers in the past.
Yeah, and that was also, it was kind of a, kind of a delayed handoff as well, and I think that kind of caught the Boomers because everybody was going one direction. Once they got everybody moving, they just kind of handed it off for that little draw.
Another 11-yard run for the Eagles puts them at the Boomers 16, 1st and 10. Minute 25 to go in the first quarter. Chisholm in the pistol. 1 receiver to the right, 1 to the left, as well as a tight end behind him. Short hands it off to him. Initially in the backfield they have him, but Short able to drive forward inside the 15 down to about the 12, and a flag comes out late on the edge. We'll see what this will be. That's a holding against Weatherford's the early signal.
Yeah, it looks like Brody Providence had that read perfectly, and unfortunately he had too much head speed. He just kind of ran right by him.
Well, and these are young guys. We talk about Levi Harris. Yes, he's played a lot, but he's still pretty young. Brody's a freshman, so they're getting to the right spots, guys. But now, how do you finish that play? That's the big key.
Yeah, that's a good thing to look forward 2.5, 3 years from now. When they're experienced, got some age on them. So that's a good thing to see. But just need to start working on getting those things capitalized.
Kind of looks like what I do on NCAA football, where I get too excited and be going after a guy and just run right by him.
So the penalty backs Weatherford up to the 22, a total loss of 6 as the block was upfield.
Something only you do, Eric.
That's the reason why I play on varsity.
1st and 16, Chisholm finds Nixon on a little bubble near the sideline. Nixon able to rumble his way inside the 15, down to the 14, gets back essentially the penalty yards for the Eagles, and makes it a 2nd and 8 as we go under a minute now in the first quarter. 8-yard gain.
We've seen this multiple times out of the Boomers is when there's been a big play early in the drive, the defense, the body language kind of changes on the Boomer defense side, on the defensive side, and it's kind of what we're seeing right now.
Chisholm in the pistol, 2 receivers to the right side as well as an up back, 1 to the left. Man, the backfield short. Now Chisholm audibles at the line. 8 seconds on the play clock, 25 seconds in the game clock in the first quarter. They hand off to Short. Boomers all over him, and it's Trip Bates right there and taking him and wrapping him and dragging him down for a loss of 2.
Yeah, Trip stuck in there. It kind of the Trip is one that I think I've talked about on the broadcast how smart of a player Trip Bates is. And that's exactly what he did right there. He didn't try to do too much. He just got in front of the ball carrier and took him down.
And that is the end of the first quarter. We're scoreless in Weatherford after 1. Eagles trying to drive, though. We'll step aside for break. You're listening to Boomer Football on Z92 and Boomer TV. I guess we'll keep it here on that one, but the good news is, guys, Eric, you just talked about the Boomer defense after giving up a couple plays. Now going up a little bit. We've seen them make some of these goal line stands. Always interesting when they're able to find that kind of momentum late in the drill.
Yeah, there has been multiple times where it has looked like things are going to start snowballing on them a little bit, where they're, like I talked about, the body language drops a little bit. We saw it, I think, twice at Dodge City where, Dodge City had the ball inside the 3 and they were able to make a stop. Once got a turnover, and so, and that just shows how good our defense, is and, even better can be if they could put it all together.
Chisholm in the gun, 3rd and 10. He's going to take it on the QB draw, fights off a tackle. Another gets inside the 10, near the first down stick, but short by, looks like maybe a yard as it got to the 7, needed the 6. Sets up 4th and short. Chisholm again, a situation where the Boomers maybe have him a couple yards upfield, a shorter gain, but tough to stop is Stone Chisholm. Guy that has really filled out his frame, 6'3", 235. As now they're going to go essentially the tush push here, it looks like. Chisholm deep under center, waiting for a hole, and he'll get to the 5. Have the first down on 4th and 1. That's really tough to stop, as the Philadelphia Eagles approved in the NFL.
Yeah, I would like to see the, because again, I think everybody knew what was going to happen there. But the Boomers didn't do anything, they didn't do anything to pinch. You know what I mean? Like, I would like to have seen them do everything they could to kind of pinch down. If they make a, if they're going to pop it out on the outside, they did a great job. But you got to do everything you can to do to stop it.
So 1st and goal for Weatherford. Start the second quarter here. 11 minutes remaining in the half. Chisholm in the pistol. Hands off to Short. Trying to fight his way forward inside the 4. Boomers on him. Finally dragging him down. Short at least kept his legs moving, though, for a gain. Looks like 1, maybe 2. This will be 2nd and goal from about the 3.
I wish people would stop going for the big hit. I don't know how many times we've seen people go for the big hit and just straight up miss somebody. Sorry, that's just something that's always frustrating. It's kind of the same thing in basketball when somebody tries to do too much at the basket. Instead of going up there for just not an easy layup, but get the ball high, do what you can off the glass.
Just make the easy play.
Right. They just try to do too much, make it look flashy.
Chisholm in the gun on 2nd and goal, trying to dive for it himself on the keeper, and he broke the plane for the touchdown. A last effort there to stretch it across. And Weatherford on the board first from 3 yards out. Stone Chisholm with the keeper. That drive going 11 plays, lasting from 3 minutes, 30 seconds in the first quarter to 10-13 here in the second. So Eagles go on that long drive. Started that one at their own 11. That's an extra point upcoming for Weatherford. And that one is through and good. And so I'll make it 7-0 as we look at our Just World Chevrolet scoreboard. Just World Chevrolet in Shattuck. It's where honesty is not just a word, it's how they drive every deal. Visit justworldchevrolet.com or call them at 580-938-2122. Just World Chevrolet powering the scoreboard throughout the season. Drive recap, 11 plays, 89 yards for the Eagles, ending on that 3-yard run by Stone Chisholm. Started with a big 34 yards pass to C.J. Nixon, also a 15-yard personal foul, pushed them all the way to the Boomer 40 on that play. As Weatherford ready to kick it off. Back deep is Colt Moore again. Had a good return his first time, got it to the 40. Well, the opening kick nearly had a big hole. We'll see how Weatherford plays it. As kicking this one will be Jake Crisp. Looks like he's set up for maybe a shorter kick. Boomers need to be ready for the sky kick. And that is the case. High kick, fair catch called for and brought in by the Boomers just outside the 30-yard line. That one looked to be Cooper Gregory making the fair catch and gives the Boomers field position at the 32. That's something that has been kind of a, I wouldn't say weakness, but been a point of focus on special teams the last few weeks. So you good to see the Boomers respond in the first instance.
You said not necessarily a weakness, but I think every time we see one of those, high kicks up short, I think everybody gets just a little bit nervous as if we're going to get on it or not.
Yeah, if you're Colt Moore, I think that says something to you, though, because they do that because almost every time somebody will kick the Colt and make a nice little return, and then they'll switch it up to the sky kick or the squib or something like that.
So 1st and 10 for the Boomers at their own 32, 10-11 remaining in the half. Douglas Fisher takes the snap, hands it off to Cooper Littall, gets across the line of scrimmage, maybe a half yard, not even, they'll say, back to the line of scrimmage, 2nd and 10. Littall trying to find some of that space, guys, but the hole is just not there early. This will be 2nd and 10 upcoming. As it'll be Douglas Fisher in the gun, 2 receivers right side. 1 to the left is Moore. And you've got the tight end short side as well to the left. Latal also flanking on the left side. Now goes in motion, does Graff cross the formation, and it looked like some early movement by the Boomers as Graff was in motion. So this will be a penalty. Somebody got just a little antsy.
I couldn't quite. Was that on the line, or it may have been Cooper actually too? Because Cooper kind of took off just a tad early. It looked like to me, but either way, move the ball back. I think one thing you're going to see here soon is, as we're going to run the ball, but we're going to go over the top because they're getting a lot of times Colts out here on single coverage. When they press him a little bit, he's going to get that step on him.
And they're not putting Nixon on him. It is Nixon playing on the D line when he's in there. As Douglas Fisher back to pass on 2nd and 15. The screen play, that one just a bit overthrown as Latal kind of went through his hands to touch, almost a play made by an Eagle. It'll be incomplete, 3rd and 15.
And right as you said, C.J. Nixon, he was the one who's, given the biggest pressure coming out there, and I think Ryan got rid of the ball just a little too early. Cooper wasn't ready on that screen play.
This is a guy, folks, that's listed at 6'5", 235, but is preparing to go to OU next year, and I think probably undersells him a little bit with that list. I think he's a touch more filled out there.
More than likely, he's already on a nutrition plan and a weight plan and all that kind of stuff as well, so he's probably a little bit bigger, 255.
3rd and 15 for the Boomers. Douglas Fisher back to pass Anthony Sitt, looking for the deep shot to Jake Graff, and just a bit overthrown. Graff had a step, was working there. Looked like on Luke Brunner, the junior, just couldn't locate the ball quick enough, and a touch overthrown by Douglas Fisher. So that'll force a punt for the Boomers. There was that deep shot you're talking about, Eric. Obviously, unfortunately, in a more obvious situation, but still had just a touch of space. Is Graff now ready for the punt? Handles the snap. That one, good to get that off, and it's fielded inside the 35. As looks like Scamerhorn returned to the 45, now the 50 inside the Boomer territory. Found a little short space off his right side.
Yeah, and on that pass play, I couldn't tell. I don't know if you saw it too either, but it looked like Jake thought he was going to go inside a little bit more. That ball was kind of thrown over his outside shoulder.
You can see him switch directions for that back shoulder pass, and he just, like you said, he was already going inside. It might have been a good throw if the initial thought was to go outside.
So Weatherford takes over at the Woodward 48 with 9:02 remaining in the first half. The Eagles lead 7-0. Chisholm in the pistol. 2 receivers tight end to the right side, 1 to the left. Man, the backfield hand off to him. He'll bounce it to that left side. Look at C.J. Nixon's way. Cracked at about the 42, and that's where he's dropped. That one, Cashin Skinner, the senior, getting the carry. A little bit more of a speed back compared to Blackman, and short as he gets 6 on first down.
Well, we talked about, that overall, with the exception of Nixon, you don't have, I'm going to say, outstanding true football players. You just have a bunch of athletes for this Weatherford team, and, that's just another example of it right there.
So 2nd and 4 for the Eagles. Chisholm again in the pistol. They hand off again to Skinner. This time the Boomers on him quick. He gets about a yard, and that's it. Sets up 3rd and 3 from the 39-yard, or the 41-yard line, in Boomer territory.
Eric, you mentioned having just a bunch of athletes out there, and that kind of goes to your point. These kids play multiple sports, and as you play all those multiple sports, you can kind of, like you said, pick up on things, which makes these guys a football team that works well together.
Well, they're adaptable, they're flexible, right? We've seen that with them. A lot of these guys we mentioned have played multiple positions on the football team on top of the sports, so they're able to fit into any role. 3rd and 3 for the Eagles. Chisholm in the gun, trips to his right, low snap, takes it in, screen out to Scamerhorn, able to get across the 6 for the first down, but dropped there nicely on the tackle by Mason Arnold in the open field. Still, though, a first down for the Eagles to the Woodward 35. 7-yard gain on 3rd and 3, and that's tough to stop. Scamerhorn just gets that little space, and he's got enough speed to get there quick. 7:25 remains in the half. Weatherford leads 7-0. Trying to drive again at the Boomer 35.
I think me rushing down here, I've hit a wall. Gotta hit that. Where am I?
Stick with us, Eric. Stick with us. As the handoff goes to Skinner, he finds a nice hole on the right side, breaks the tackle, dragging the ball inside the 20-yard line before the Boomers able to rank him down. And Skinner, although he looks like more of a quick back, showing a bit of power there.
Yeah, he carried 4 or 5 Boomers for a couple extra yards. So, You know, again, that's why they always say is, you know, when you're running the ball, keep your feet moving no matter what, you know, and if your momentum is carrying you forward and you're digging your feet into the ground, you know, you're going to have that momentum if you get somebody on the back of their heels.
So 6:44 countdown to the first half. Weatherford trying to extend their 7-0 lead. Chisholm in the pistol. He'll turn, hand off again to Skinner. Finds another hole on the right side to the 10. Lowers his shoulder down to the 6. And drug down there, but not before another 12-yard gain. As Skinner showing some power, showing some speed on this drive for the Eagles.
Yeah, the Eagles are kind of starting to get that flow offensively on the run game. Need to try to make an adjustment here and try to bend but not break here on the goal line.
Tough part for the Boomers to that point is that Weatherford will hit you with, you know, 3, 4, sometimes 5 different ball carriers throughout a game. Got to be ready. And now whistle and an official's timeout as Mason Arnold trying to tie a shoe, it looked like.
That's one of the situations, if you're the Boomers, you know, watch for them to go up to Nixon.
First and goal from the 7. Chisholm, pistol look, and a flag comes in. I think there's some early movement. They're going to hand it off to Skinner again.
Yeah, and I think we're lucky because I think he was fixing to walk in.
Yeah.
Had a good hole initially.
But I think that's why the offensive line got so much.
That's offsides on the Boomers.
Oh, really?
So it's early movement, but on Woodward. So moving closer for first and goal. Now inside the 5 to the 3. 3.5, really. .55 remaining first half. This one going quick on some of those run plays. Weatherford trying to extend their 7-0 lead. Chisholm in the pistol has 2 tight ends. Receiver each side. Handoff again to Skinner trying to leap in. Boy, he got paid for it a bit. Brody Providence initially grabbed him on a leap. I think it was Casey Bourne that finished it off.
I think he tried to jump from about the 3.5, 4-yard line. He jumped a little early there.
Tried to Superman it a touch. The senior trying to score on senior night. Can't necessarily say I blame him. This will be second and goal for Weatherford from the 2. That being said, I don't think I want to give Case and Bourne a free shot at me with my body exposed. That's not. Whew, that hurt. And note Skinner is not in at running back this play. As Chisholm in the gun. Receiver each side, tight end, and Stone Chisholm just going to take it himself, leaps into the end zone, little hurdle over the line, and he's got his second touchdown of the game, this time on a 2-yard dive. They just block it really well. Chisholm able to use that leverage as well. So 5:03 in the half. Weatherford extends their lead. Now on for the extra point. Now here's Chavez for the Eagles. Made his first snap, ball down. That kick is good. So make it 14-0 in favor of the Eagles with just over 5 minutes remaining in the half. Boomers did receive to start the game, so we'll have to kick. Keep that in mind for the second half. Salem State Bank, they've got a branch in Woodward, the new location, 2314 at Williams Avenue. Salem State Bank branch, Salem State Bank Woodward branch, should say, offers full-service banking, including personal, checking, savings, home and commercial loans, mobile and online banking, wire transfers, and much more. M&D Enterprises, the lawnmower shop for your best lawn, porch, or patio. M&D Enterprises and the lawnmower shop are your people. They carry everything you need to make your greenscape that little piece of heaven you've always dreamed of. Locations in Woodward, Canton, and Weatherford. M&D's, as well as Salem State Bank, powering Boomer Sports this season.
Yeah, can you tell my monster's worn off?
Yeah, I think I was fixing to ask, you need me to drive to the store to get you a quick shot of energy during halftime. Over here yawning, making me tired.
As the Eagles ready to kick with Crisp, again lined up, this time maybe a bit deeper, so we'll see if they do kick it to Colt Morris. He's lined up on the right hash by himself at the 10. They give him a crack at it. Moore will field it there where he stood. Goes to the 15, 20, trying to bounce it to the right. Finds a hole, 30, 35, 40. Get that block. At the 50, breaks the tackle to the 40, inside the 35, and a late flag comes down as the tackle was made. For now, Colt Moore with an explosive return. Yet again, they dared him that time with the kick. And he'll give Woodward good field position, pending the flag.
I'm hoping they're not. I couldn't see him giving a block in the back here.
That's
hoping his face mask.
We'll see if that's the case or not. As we're waiting on the call. If it's a face mask, the Boomers will have
face mask. Okay.
Amazing field position.
I felt like he threw the flag far enough after that last block that it wasn't going to be a block in the back, but he just sometimes you never know. But man, great job by Colt. He recognized
he saw that huge hole on the right side.
And it's amazing because I think people just underestimate this type of speed that Colt has. And here's the deal: he does it on the track. He does it on the track as well.
Yeah,
he is a great track athlete.
And you see it on the basketball court too, where he wants to really put it on. So the Boomers take over 1st and 10 at the Weatherford 18 on this drive. 4:52 remains in the half. Douglas Fisher in the gun. 2 receivers left, 1 to the right. Latal in the backfield, but handles Latal. This time finds a hole. Gets to the 10, inside the 10 down to about the 7, near the sticks. It'd be about the 8, actually, excuse me. And that's a good sign. The Boomers needed that run. And it looks like he's going to be right on it. It's going to be close for first down. Boomers looking to that sideline. Haven't signaled first down. They finally do, so 1st and goal for the Boomers, 10-yard run. It's 1st and goal for the Boomers. As Douglas Fisher in the gun, 2 to the left, 1 to the right. Latal tight end as well to the left side, and a flag comes down, false start on the Boomers.
Ely just pointed out that at the end of the play, Colt went over the sideline, went over to the table, but looks like he's probably off now. So
good to see there. Yep, got to keep him hopefully available for the final game, if not this one, to come back. So we'll check the stats of that or keep an eye on it. So the Boomers back up 5. Now 1st and goal from the 13. Douglas Fisher fakes the handoff, looking short to Rowland. Catches it about the 15, trying to shake a tackle. A good open field tackle by an Eagle there. And that one by Cooper Bryant. Rowland able to get a couple of yards to the 11.
Kind of an awkward throw there by Ryan Douglas. He kind of
had some pressure.
Got turned sideways and almost kind of shot putted it to over there. So,
I mean, I would do the same if I could get away from C.J. Nixon's fast spot.
No.
3:50 remain in the half. Woodward trailing 14-0, but in Weatherford territory, 2nd and goal, I should say, at the 11.
I'd be doing that, getting away from most of the kids down there. So,
right. Douglas Fisher takes the snap. They fake the handoff, looking for the slant on the right side. Caught, and it is Colt who raced back in, able to get down to the 2-yard line. Not quite a touchdown, but since the Boomers up with a 3rd and goal from the 2 on the 9-yard catch.
Because I had a conversation with earlier today about the maturity that Ryan Douglas Fisher has shown and the way he on passing plays and things like that. He's when he has time and he has an opportunity, he's gotten so much better at throwing the ball and putting it in the right spots.
Woodward looking for a big answer on 3rd and goal, trailing by 2 scores. Douglas Fisher empty set, and Weatherford jumps. Eagles jumped right there. So that should move you another yard.
Now we need to give them give our own version of the tush push.
Yeah. Right, down to the 1 now on the offsides.
I think Boomers are definitely in 4-play territory.
Got to be, right? You're down 2 scores, field goal really doesn't do much.
You're way too close. You've done a fairly good job defensively, getting, causing pressure. Even if you go, turn it over on 4th down.
2:40 remain in the half. Woodward trying to find their first score. Douglas Fisher again, empty set. 2 to the right, 2 to the left. Just going to try to take himself off the edge. Weatherford blowing it up, and it's Nixon in the backfield. And he just sniffed that one out. That's a loss on the play. Bring up 4th and goal from the 5.
Now, maybe field goal. That backed us up enough that you're right in the middle of the field.
Yeah. Tough break for the Boomers, it looks like, for now.
They're going to go.
Lining up for it. I mean, why not? You're on the road. Just over 2 minutes left in the half. Douglas Fisher in the gun, 2 to the right, 1 to the left, takes the snap, rolls out, looking right side, trying to find somebody near the pylon. That one intercepted.
No,
incomplete. Okay. That's incomplete. Was intended for Boomer along that pylon. A lot of traffic, though. Turnover on downs for the Boomers. That's Cooper Bryant, the one breaking up the pass.
But now if you're the defense, you have an opportunity to pin your ears back. You got them, backed up to the 5. Be aggressive here, get into the backfield, and, see if you can cause some disruption and potentially even a safety.
So the Eagles take over at their own 5 with just under 2 minutes remaining. They've got looks like all 3 of their timeouts as well. As Eric said, see if you pin your ears back for the Boomers. This will be Chisholm in the pistol, receiver each side. Has a tight end lined up on the right as well. Man in the backfield, they give it to him. Looks to be short, makes a little bit of a juke move, gets across the line of scrimmage, but not going to get much more. Gets to about, gave him a little bit more than I thought. Got to the 9, they'll say, so gain of 4 on first down.
I'm going to tell you this about Weatherford. They got some good smelling hamburgers around
Dude,
here.
I'm telling you, it's wafting up to us, yeah. Yeah, no doubt. So 2nd and 6 for the Eagles from their own 9. Not in any rush. They might be comfortable to try to take this into the half, knowing they will get the ball to start the second half. As will be Chisholm in the pistol with a couple backs around him. 2 receivers to his right, 1 to the left. The Boomers might have jumped, or was it Weatherford that jumped? Somebody jumped. They say it's Weatherford. So we'll back him up. So initial false start signal.
Well, I think, the Boomers jump, but nobody crossed the line, and as they regain themselves, a Weatherford player fell forward, so.
So move Weatherford back to the 5, just inside it at the 4. Seen a couple of those tonight from the Eagles. A couple of those odd penalties. This will be 2nd and 11 now instead of 2nd and 6. Clock, though, still running. Or stop momentarily. We'll run here in a minute. Minute 10 left in the half. Weatherford leads 14-0. They came up, stopped the Boomers on a 4th and goal situation from the 5. This will be Chisholm in the gun. Split backs beside him. 2 to the left, 1 to the right. They'll hand off to Short. Short has a hole on that right side. Levi Harris able to drag him down, but not before Short gets the first down at the 16-yard line. Got just enough.
As I was thinking about the last 2 plays, I think really the C.J. Nixon threat that Weatherford has in the passing game is forcing the Boomers to leave an extra guy back in kind of that intermediate range, and we know we're not able to put the pressure that we've been able to put on other teams this year.
Under a minute now remains in the half, down to 50 seconds. Weatherford 1st and 10 at their own 16. Chisholm with another handoff, this time again to Short. And gets a couple of yards, but not much. Brings up 2nd down. And now a timeout taken by the Boomers. They had 2 left, now down to 1 with 40 seconds remaining in the half. So, trying to give yourself a shot to see, okay, well, maybe we just at least get a kick return chance here.
Yeah, a kick return chance, or maybe, maybe cause a fumble or something like that. You still have that opportunity. And, especially if you can get a turnover down where they're, at this point, the good field percentage I can't even talk now.
Good field position.
Field position. I almost said percentage, and I have no idea why. Good field position. That a turnover will, if they got the turnover. So, do everything you can to give yourself an opportunity to try to get at least 3 points here going into halftime.
Woodward taking their time in the timeout. Boomers back on the field, ready for play.
If any of our listeners want to hear more from Ely, check out the NWTV Facebook page.
Yeah, he's done some reports. Yeah.
Sports anchor Ely Noble.
Wow. 40 seconds remains in the half. Weatherford with a 2nd and 7. Chisholm in the pistol. Man behind him. Everybody else packed in tight on the receivers' tight ends. They'll give it to Short. He busted it to the outside. The left side, fighting towards out of bounds, gets spun out. No, it does not get spun out, but tackled just short of the stick. They'll be 3rd, about 1 for Weatherford as Woodward takes another timeout. Gain of 6 on the play by Short. Had a cavalcade of blockers in front of him.
I don't understand how you keep the clock winding because he's sitting on top of somebody there. It didn't look like he was actually.
It looked like he got spun out.
Right. So, but I'm not right there. So.
Harder job than I'm willing to take. That much is for sure on the official side.
I had a conversation with the white-haired white cat.
White-haired white hat.
White-haired white hat the other day.
Old legal answers.
In a convenience store, and I kind of talked about officiating and things like that, and kind of came back to that. Was it the Douglas game where? Yeah, Douglas game where it was, there was a lot of flags thrown,
right?
Things like that.
Bit of a chippy game, yeah.
I told him, I was like, I felt like that was one of those games where the game itself got to the officials a little too much. And I said, but that's definitely a job I do not want to have, is be down there on the Friday night, because, I do it junior high softball and it's tough, so I can imagine having to deal with Friday night lights.
3rd and short for Weatherford. 30 seconds to go in the half. Again, they'll hand it off. This time, it looks like maybe Blackland. The flag comes in late. As first down right now for Weatherford. It might have been short again, actually, on the run. It was. Has the first to the 29, but a flag does come in late.
It's close to potential face mask, though.
And they do call the hold on Weatherford.
Okay.
So we'll see where this backs them up. You have to replay the 3rd down. The problem is Boomers are out of timeouts. The clock's going to run. So it goes from 3rd and short to 3rd and 11.
Yeah, I think if I'm Weatherford, I don't even worry about throwing the ball.
Yeah, I'm not saying take a knee, but yeah, you just
run the ball, see what you can pick up, and
clock still stays stopped. I apologize. Oh, that runs on the official signal. No, it does not. So still 24 seconds. Another handoff to Short as he gets stood up near the line of scrimmage by the Boomers, trying to drag him back. They do take him down, and that brings up the 4th down. Only gain of 1, but that is the final play of the first half as Weatherford does not need to snap it. So the Eagles take a 14-0 lead over the Boomers into the halftime locker room. We'll step aside for a break, come back for the halftime show. You're listening to Boomer Football on Z92 and Boomer TV.
Central, Bank of Western Oklahoma has stood by our communities, understanding the unique culture and values that make Western Oklahoma special. As a locally operated bank since 1908, we're not just bankers, we're neighbors. We've seen generations grow, businesses flourish, and brands thrive, and we've been there every step of the way. Trust in a bank that shares your roots and works as hard as leading. Bank of Western Oklahoma, member FDIC, and equal housing.
Feel safe and secure with Arlo Wireless Outdoor Camera, available at Pioneer. Arlo offers top-notch protection with crystal clear video quality. Rain or shine, monitor your home from anywhere with remote smartphone access. Whether you're at home or on the go, Arlo keeps you connected to what matters most. Trust Arlo and Pioneer to keep your home safe and secure. Visit GoPioneer.com to get your Arlo wireless cameras today.
Welcome back to Boomer Football, Z92, Boomer TVs. We're at the half. Weatherford on top, 14-0 over the Boomers. And guys, a quick first half, obviously kind of led by that, run game from Weatherford. Looking at the halftime stats brought to you by High Plains Tire. And there's a High Plains Tire 2220 Main Street, Woodward. It's where your dollar goes further. And both teams had a punt on their first drives in the first quarter. Woodward punted their second drive. They get a first down there, but not able to get much further. Weatherford then goes on the first scoring drive of the game. Late first quarter, started with about 3 minutes, 30 seconds. They go 11 plays, 89 yards. And in that one, in the early second quarter, 10-13 remaining in the half, it was a 3-yard run by Stone Chisholm. Dove it in himself there. And then you go to the next Woodward possession, get another 3-and-out. Weatherford comes back with another touchdown, back-to-back drives there, and go up 14-0. That one was an 8-play, 52-yard drive for the Eagles. Took about 4 minutes off the clock. Woodward would get a really good chance as Cole Moore got a big kick return, got all the way down to inside the Weatherford 40 to about the 31. Then you had a penalty on top of that. Ultimately, we were set up at the Weatherford 18, unable to take advantage of it. Got down to the 5-yard line on fourth goal and turned over on downs on the incompletion. And of course, Weatherford just kind of ran out the clock to end that first half. And that's what you said. I mean, some good things, guys. Defensively, saw Woodward for the most part plug up that run. Did let a big play to Nixon kind of set up a couple scoring drives, and then Weatherford was able to pound away, started in good field position on their second scoring drive. But ultimately, you're seeing the ball move. Still got to try to finish some of those drives. That's been a little tough.
Yeah, you mentioned it early in the first half. We was doing a real good job of stopping the run. It looked like we had a sense of urgency to us and stuff like that. But Weatherford, they've kind of killed the time of possession, and it kind of looked like towards the end of that first half, it kind of started to get to the Woodward defense. Some of those run plays started to work. The offensive line started to push the D line back. So just need some renewed energy here in the second half, and try to keep our defense off the field just a little bit longer.
Yeah, I agree with him, and I think on the defensive side, the Boomers just got to do a little bit better job of tackling at times. There hasn't been too many plays that have really hurt the Boomers, but unfortunately the plays that have hurt the Boomers, there's been missed tackles and missed opportunities. The Boomers got to do a better job at that. And that's something we've talked about almost every game, though, that has kind of been a bugaboo for the Boomers is poor tackling on the defensive side.
It has. The one positive of that, and you hate to see the missed tackles, but at the same time, Eric, as we pointed out as well, they're in the right spots. That Boomer defense is in the right spots. Just now got to finish that off, right? And that can be the tough part, especially for some of these younger guys. Say, hey, got the play right there, and they get those big eyes. And they kind of miss it.
It's been getting the big eyes, like I talked about on one of the big plays early in the first quarter. Where there was 4 or maybe even 5 guys that were kind of diving at the feet. It was because they saw the tackle, they saw the opportunity, but they were going too early and diving at the feet instead of taking a couple extra steps and making sure you're gonna be able to try to pull him down.
Absolutely. Well, with that first half recap, let's step aside for a quick break, and we'll take a look at what's going on around the district and going around Northwest Oklahoma as well. On the other side of it, you're listening to Boomer Football on Z92, KMZ FM Woodward, and Boomer TV.
Tired of complicated Wi-Fi management? Go Pioneer Smart Wi-Fi makes it easy. With Go Pioneer Smart Wi-Fi, you can set your Wi-Fi password, view all your connected devices, and even run speed tests all from your phone. Need to set up remote controls? No problem. Simple, smart, secure. Stay connected and in control with Go Pioneer Smart Wi-Fi. Visit GoPioneer.com to learn more.
Every day may seem like a thankless job, but you know better. It's the little things that matter most. That's why you'll appreciate the enduring value of the Michelin Defender tire. Designed for doers like you, Michelin's longest-lasting tire keeps you on the go longer, so you have one less thing to worry about on your next road trip. Stop in today for miles of uncompromised safety and performance. Visit your local Michelin dealer, Things Tire, at 2220 Main in Woodward.
For more than a century, Bank of Western Oklahoma has stood by our communities, understanding the unique culture and values that make Western Oklahoma special. As a locally owned and operated bank since 1908, we're not just bankers, we're your neighbors. We've seen generations grow, businesses flourish, and farms thrive. And we've been there every step of the way. Trust in a bank that shares your roots and works as hard as you do. Bank of Western Oklahoma, member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
And back in Weatherford at the half, the Eagles lead the Boomers 14-0 at the break. It's a quick first half, and let's take a look at what's going on kind of around Northwest Oklahoma. Got some big games. We were talking a little bit, Eric, about trying to clarify some of those playoff races, if you will. I can tell you last night it was Stillwater blowing out Piedmont 49-7 in some Class 6A action. The Pioneers rolling there. And right now, Enid in 6A1. If I have it, there we go. They're taking on Jinx. That's a tough challenge. Jinx leads that one 21-0 in the first quarter. Look at some of those other district games going on right now in Class 4A. Mentioned the big clash between Clinton and Elgin. See if the Red Tornadoes can fare any better against Elgin than Weatherford did, who lost 56-14. So far, not the case. Elgin leads 28-0 in that game. Second quarter The Owls are cruising. Douglas Cash clashing right now. Cash leads 27-0 in the second quarter. And then you've got Elk City, Bridge Creek. That's a big one, just simply because that's trying to decide that fourth spot. Right now, Elk City with the advantage, 24-6 over Bridge Creek. What do we got else going on there?
Well, I think I'm struggling a little bit. AT&T struggling down here a little bit tonight. So trying to get this to load. I had it, and then I switched to something else, and all of a sudden it's not showing up. So
let's go to 2A2 there, see what the
there we go. Now
Bulldogs are into. What do you got?
I just got 2A2 to load.
Okay.
So let's go down here. Alva is at Meeker. That's kind of the big one we follow, 17-7. Alva is up over Meeker. That's late in the second quarter, probably halftime now from the last update. And then kind of 2A2, Hennessy's kind of on that kind of outside area that we follow. They're hosting Stroud at 16-6 or 16-0 right now. Stroud over Hennessy.
Looking at Class A1 going on there. A couple interesting games. Fairview currently all over Sayre at the moment. I had it and I lost it. Oh, there we go. They lead 49-0 in Fairview on that one. That's the second quarter. So the Yellow Jackets playing a bit angry tonight. Crescent right now leads Merritt 19-0. Looking at Cashin, they're in a bit of a fight. Got Hinton in Cashin tonight, and Hinton leads Cashin 10-6 in that one. Second quarter, Hooker, number one team in A1, leads Ontaga 33-0 in the second quarter. What else we got there? Maybe an A2.
I'm trying to get A2 to load here.
Go A2, Ely. You got it.
Oh, we got it loaded. Let's see. Moreland is beating Southwest Covenant 22-6. Still in the second quarter over there.
Okay. Takes home a Goodwill, leads Carnegie 27-0 in the second. A2.
Thomas beating Mangum 20-14.
That's a big one. That was a big clash here at the top of the district. Talked with Coach Ward this week for one of our Friday Court Sports previews. And he was excited about the challenge. That was a young Thomas team last year. Kind of took some of those lumps. Still made the playoffs because that's what Thomas Custer does.
Yeah, they're a playoff team.
But this year, rolling a bit stronger. Dealt with some injuries, had battered. So that Mangum game right now could be for the top of the district should Thomas be able to hold on. You got B1. What you got over there?
Maybe. Here, you guys get the B's. I'll just be ready for the C's.
B1 right now, Pond Creek Hunter. They host Oklahoma Bible Academy. Lead Pond Creek leads 22-0 at the break. Turpin taking on Pioneer Pleasantville, 38-8 there. Garber clashing with Laverne. That one in Laverne all over Garber, 36-0 in the second quarter. That's pretty much B1. Let's see what we got in B2.
Looks like Ely's having the same issue with B2.
You got AT&T?
Yep.
I finally got it to load.
I'll tell you that I was down here a couple weeks ago, and it was completely out a couple weeks ago. So.
Yeah, they had some issues. I don't have that. B2 going on. I got Verizon. Anyway, Sealy taking on Boise City. Sealy trying to clinch the district title there. They lead 38-0 in the second quarter. Coming to Douglas, they lead Davenport 36-14 in the first quarter. Shattuck last night fell to O'Keene 70-36. The Whippets put it on Shattuck in that one. It was 40-28 at the half. O'Keene led, and they closed out in the second quarter. Coyle Cherokee kind of had an odd situation. Last night, Cherokee's getting ready to play. Coyle calls about an hour before kickoff and says, hey, we didn't realize it was rescheduled to Thursday. It was originally Friday game, got moved up, so Coyle's like, our bad on that one. They played that at noon today. Cherokee blanks Coyle 46-0 in that game. Ringwood Canton going on right now. Canton actually leads 22-12 in the second quarter. And Eric, what have we got in class?
I've got C loaded.
Yeah.
Let's go with kind of the main games in the area first. We got Sharon Mutual is out at Tyrone. Tyrone is rolling in that game 26-0. Let's see. We got Timberlake out at Beaver. This game is not showing final yet, but it's going to be a final. It's still showing the second quarter, but it's 54-0.
Yep.
Winoka 48-0 over Kremlin Hillsdale. That says first quarter. Pretty sure that's not. If it's not the first quarter, or if it's the first quarter,
The rails are rolling.
The rails are really rolling. Balco, Forgan is hosting Buffalo. Buffalo is up 22-0 in that game. And
you kind of pointed this one out before he came back. Tipton hosting Gary. Gary kind of on the up and up this year. Feel that they're pretty competitive, top 10 team in Class C. Right now, Gary taking it to Tipton, tied at 12 in the second quarter.
Yeah, that's a big one. And we talked about, again, Gary's been playing well. While we're on C, I want to, because that's all the games is showing right now. But while we're on C, I want to give a shout out to Thatcher Severin, Coach Severin. Yes. Tyler Severin is assistant coach at Timberlake. His dad, Brian, is the head coach.
Talked to Brian this morning on the K101 Morning Show.
Okay, and so Thatcher was diagnosed with leukemia this week, stage 4 leukemia.
Burkett's leukemia, correct? Burkett leukemia was the term, I think.
I can look it up real quick. I can't remember the exact name of it, but initially they thought it was just a lymphoma. Bone marrow came back. It was leukemia. So uphill battle right now for the Severins. The doctors still feel like it's a good opportunity. He's got a good opportunity to get through it, even though it's an uphill battle. But you know, he's got a lot of support, a lot of prayers out there for Thatcher. I know Thatcher. I know Severins. He's a kid who loves to compete, plays every sport. So he's got a uphill battle, but there's a lot of support around Northwest Oklahoma for the Severin family.
And one of the staple of Northwest Oklahoma, the
exactly.
Army. Brian, has been coaching at Timberlake for years and years and years. Tyler played the Class Bowl with us, and a good kid, and become, as you mentioned, on the staff there with Coach Sefford now the last few years. And they've had a lot of fun, so definitely wrap your arms, like you said, around that family, and a lot of prayers. They've had some cool moments. The OU football team gave some shout-outs. Oh, goodness.
I know, like the Northwestern women's basketball team.
Women's basketball team. That's what I was searching.
It goes back to there's a lot of connections.
With Rumble.
Yeah.
Thunder basketball.
There's a lot of connections there, actually. So my brother-in-law is married to Tyler Severin's sister, Kylie. So so it's just kind of been one of those weeks where everybody's just kind of been on the edge of their seat waiting. Like I said, there's so many people that know that family well, and so it's a long battle, but he's got a lot of people around him.
And there's a Facebook page, correct, Thatcher Strong. Let's give it some of those updates. And might have the link to GoFundMe as well, and about, if you can, with some of those medical expenses.
There's also shirt. I think somebody's selling shirts and different things like that. So, just if you get an opportunity to support. If you can't, just your thoughts and your prayers. That's huge in itself.
Absolutely it is. With that, let's step aside for a final break in the halftime. We'll come back, look at some keys to the second half for the Boomers as they try to claw back in this deficit against the Weatherford Eagles here tonight. You're listening to Boomer Football on Z92 and Boomer TV.
Every family has a story filled with chapters of love, laughter, and dreams for the future. But what if one day you're not there to help write the next chapter? Life is unpredictable, but your love for your family shouldn't be. With State Farm Life Insurance, Gwen Matthews and Woodward can help ensure your story continues, even when you're not there to turn the page. Protect the chapters yet to come. Talk to Gwen Matthews, because your story deserves to be told.
And back at the half, as both Boomers, Eagles getting ready to get back onto the field as the Weatherford band wraps up their marching performance. And speaking on the Woodward side, some of those key events going on in the coming weeks for the Boomers. We mentioned, of course, pregame that the cheer and dance squad will be performing their game day routine next Wednesday night, 7:30 at the Fieldhouse. It's $5 entry for adults, kids free, and that's in preparation of game day regionals for them. The wrestling team will be getting started up soon on the boys and girls side. Their first contest is at UConn on November 9th. That's a week from tomorrow. It'll be 9 a.m. Saturday. The UConn Open first home duel December 5th against Watauga. That's Thursday night, so it'll be a middle school and high school duel, 6 o'clock. And something we didn't get to talk about in the pregame, that I do want to mention. We'll have a cool event going on November 20th, Eric, for the basketball team. Going to do a little bit of a Midnight Madness type of, scrimmage, if you will, there at the field house at 8 o'clock.
Yeah, 8 o'clock. We want to kind of set it at 8 o'clock to allow people to, go to church and do their normal Wednesday night activities. We're going to do it. We're trying to figure out a date, and middle school has a tournament during that week on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday. The boys scrimmage on Friday. Everybody goes to Thanksgiving break on Friday, so it kind of was a real hard week to try to get something in, but it was the only time we could really do it, so we went with a Wednesday night. 8 o'clock, it's going to kind of be a pep assembly style. We're going to try to as many band members as we can get there. Dance said they're going to be there. I believe Cherry's going to be there, so it's just going to be kind of a fun couple hours, and scrimmaging. We're going to have a 3-point contest between the players, and have the boys and the girls, two winners, go up against each other.
Oh, there you go.
Different stuff like that. So I think hopefully it's going to be a good time. You're going to see all the players, all the coaches, all that kind of stuff as well. So
it should be a pretty fun basketball season on the boys' side. You're bringing back almost everybody from that squad last year and adding some very talented freshmen. Obviously, Kate Gaines will be a hot topic of conversation with that on the freshman side of things. And then the girls' side, you have your Briley Douglas Fisher, your Lexi Middle, your Kaylee Mills, those girls leading the way, seeing what they can accomplish on that side of the things. And it should be interesting to watch them continue to grow and improve. And season starts December 3rd, so keep that on your calendars. Be on the road there for the first few games, will the Boomers. Then you'll have the Woodward tournament the 12th through the 14th, the Winter Classic, if you will. So
yeah,
home opportunity.
Middle school basketball, it kicks off. It kicks off on the 11th. Actually, here in Weatherford is the opener for middle school basketball. Then they're at home against Clinton on the 12th. But the basketball season's here. It's they're wrapping up fall sports. Cross country tomorrow is at State.
Yes, I did want to mention. Yeah, I forgot about that too. Thank you. State.
No, there's a lot going on,
and that'll be a lot. That could be. We'll see how that plays out with the weather. That's going to be at Edmond Santa Fe High School in Edmond, and all the classes running there. 6A begins at 8:55, I believe.
8 something or 9 o'clock, right around that time.
As far as 4A for the Boomers, they're scheduled to run 1:40 for the girls. Boys will follow. Could change depending on weather. They put some protocols out there. Basically, the OSSAA said we can run in the rain. If it's heavy rain, that'll be up to the officials' discretion on if you continue. And if there's lightning, it's kind of like football within 10 miles, 30-minute delay.
Yeah.
So, and then they'll have to, depending on how far the race is long, might have to rerun that. So stick with that. Essentially, 4A will be the next to last class, or one of the next to last classes. Kind of an odd deal. They got 6A, 5A, and then they skip. And you get down to 4A, and it's like Class A.
I'll tell you this, lightning is one of the most annoying things when it comes to outdoor sports. Last year I was at the A and B state track meet.
Yes.
And went into a lightning delay. It was like 45 minutes, ended up being like 45 minutes to an hour. Came back, it was right at the start of the track event. So the way they do state meets is they have field events going on. And at 1 o'clock, they'll start the track events for the afternoon. That's when they do the national anthem and all that kind of stuff for the day. So they let everybody back in. They do the national anthem. About halfway through the national anthem, there's a lightning strike. And right back 30 minutes. My niece was actually in the middle of jumping at the time. She was the first one to come back. So she was waiting to go. And then all of a sudden, lightning strike. Here we go again. So I kind of said we're bouncing out at that point because who knows how long it was going to be. But, yeah, that's kind of, they've got those protocols. And, like you said, for cross-country, they're going to run in the rain. And we've talked about cross-country. We've had them on the coach's show.
Had Coach Custer and crew on this week talking to Dathan, Kenny Roach about having to prepare for that.
Right.
That's tough. Mentally, it's no different than the football team going, okay, well, now we got to adjust to playing in maybe some sloppy conditions.
And the downside of being that, you've gone through so many races before because all indications are it's going to rain overnight and into tomorrow, especially down there where they could have 6 to 8 inches over the next few days, is that course is torn up. You're essentially running in straight mud probably by that point, and so, luckily it's been so dry that the ground's so hard that maybe it's going to take a little bit longer to soak up, but it's going to be an interesting afternoon for our cross-country athletes tomorrow.
But definitely go support them if you can there tomorrow afternoon at Santa Fe High School. And guys, quickly, as we get ready to kick this one off in the second half, what's a big key in your mind for the Boomers to try to come back from this 14-0 deficit?
The biggest thing I'd say is kind of what I said leaving the first half is try to get this defense off the field. We saw the defense on the field for 95% of that second quarter there. They was getting the offense was running that clock down, obviously, but we need the offense to try to space out their drives, keep the defense, let them get a drink, let them get a breather so they could be energized to start to stop that run as they were early on in the first quarter.
Yeah, and I would just like to see the kind of the offense, kind of string a few more plays out, I guess.
Right.
Not necessarily score touchdowns. We want to score touchdowns. We're only 2 scores down. It's not like we're, really far back, by any means. But get some momentum going, that you have stuff to build on.
And Ryan Douglas Fisher on the kick for the Boomers. Nick Jett waiting to return for Weatherford. Douglas Fisher into the wing kick of this one. Jett fields it off his shoe top at about the 13, looking for some space at about the 25. Bounces back outside, finds some space to 30, 35, 40 to the 45, near the 50-yard line before he's taken down. And Nick Jett, the senior, looked like he was dead to rights right there. Everything was collapsing around, and they found the back door to be able to get good field position for Weatherford.
He should have been down at the 25. He really should have been down at the 25. And the Boomers went low, went for the feet. He was able to bounce it out, get around the corner, got all the way up to the 47. So, again, right off the bat, we talked about it at halftime. The Boomers got to do a better job of tackling.
So we'll be 1st and 10 for the Eagles at their own 47. Stone Chisholm leading the offense off the field. Trips to the left as he's in the shotgun. Nobody to the right side but the running back. And they'll hand it to him. Looks like Blackman up the left side. Finds a bit of a hole. Gets across the 50 in the Boomer territory at the 47. A late flag comes in as Kason Bourne slings him down.
Not quite sure.
No, excuse me, as Cash and Skinner in the back.
Not sure what this flag is going to be.
Came out right on the tackle. I didn't see a face mask. But I also didn't see any big blocking going on.
Yeah, that's the thing. I didn't see anything.
The Boomers are backing up.
They're calling face mask.
Wow, okay.
I don't know. Did you?
I didn't see one either.
Like it looked to me that everything I saw, he looked like he was around the waist, not high. But sometimes when you come in there, you could easily graze the face mask, not intentionally, but now everything's personal foul face mask.
So it was a 6-yard gain. Make it now essentially a 21-yard gain as Weatherford moves down to the Boomer 32. As Chisholm takes the snap, hands it off again to Skinner. This time showing a bit of speed up the gut, spins off a tackle inside the 20, dragging the defender down to the 16-yard line. The senior Skinner able to show some moves yet again.
That's kind of run you like to see from, especially speed back. Didn't try to do too much. He stayed right. He basically, kind of what you do in a screen in basketball, where you kind of rub off your screener. That's essentially what he did. Was he just went right off the blocker, and shot the gap and got upfield.
Cash and Skinner, the running back, staying in there. Chisholm in the pistol. Receiver each side, tight ends to the left side of the formation. Another handoff to Skinner, this time trying to get to the right side. Cuts it back up the middle a little bit, trying to fight forward. This time the Boomers able to stop him for a gain of about 5 as he gets across the 15-yard line down to the 13.
Unfortunately, the Boomer defense as a whole, though, is kind of falling back into that, back on their heels a little bit. Everything from the snap is they're already kind of going back, trying to brace themselves instead of moving forward and kind of dictating the play itself.
They call it 2nd and 6, game full for the Eagles. 10-20 remaining third quarter. Weatherford trying to extend their 14-0 lead. They're in Boomer territory. Chisholm in the gun, this time on the QB keeper. Up the gut, gets the 10 to the 9 before he's chopped down by a couple of Boomers. Bring up 3rd and about 3. It's Weatherford again, nothing flashy. We've talked about that. They're not going to wow you with their play design, but they're just going to try to continue to fight forward.
Yeah, they're just going to push the ball. They're going to take what they can get. They've got enough weapons that when they need to go through the air, they can go through the air, but you know, between the threats they have in the backfield, running backs and even quarterback, you know, they can just kind of do what they need to do.
Chisholm with another handoff to Skinner on 3rd and 3, trying to turn the corner. He's not going to get there. The Boomers get on him. I couldn't tell if that was Mason Bourne or Brody Providence getting the first kind of contact and able to wall him up.
I couldn't quite tell who was in there on that. Zaylen Flores was in there late as well. So, you know, again, the Boomers, you know, when they get down here late, they'll give up big plays, and then all of a sudden they'll kind of bow up and try to make a stop.
Quickly for Weatherford, here Chavez steps on for the field goal attempt. This one from about 27 yards out. From the left hash, ball down, kick is blocked by the Boomers, and now scramble for it, trying to get there is Providence, and recovered by, or excuse me, that was Collinborn trying to race to him. Chavez recovers it, but the Boomers come up with the Pioneer defensive stand on the blocked field goal.
Mason Arnold blew him up. He came off the line quick, and he was standing right in front of the ball when the ball was finally kicked, and you know, it was more his body that blocked it than his hands. Great job of Mason to read that snap and get back there and get the block.
Pioneer unleash tomorrow's potential with Pioneer Fiber in it, and get speed and reliability. Search, stream, stay connected with Pioneer Fiber. Powering the defensive stand. Boomers 1st and 10 at their own 27. Douglas Fisher in the gun. They'll hand to Cooper Latal on 1st down, trying to push the pile forward. Does get about a yard, if that. Oh, no, they marked it back to the line of scrimmage. Thought he got maybe a yard, but not the case. Looks like maybe a couple inches.
That's one of those situations where you talk about kids trying to do too much, and, you know, they kind of messes them up. That time, you know, one thing that Cooper does is he just tries to get the ball and take what he can get straight at the middle. If he would have kind of kicked it outside, I think he might have been able to pick up a few extra yards there.
They do give him a yard. So 2nd and 9 for the Boomers at the 28. 8:20 remains 3rd quarter. Douglas Fisher in the gun. 2 to the left, 1 to the right. In motion goes Latal in the bubble. Instead, it's QB draw by Douglas Fisher on the fake, and he gets across the 35 to the 36. Solid gain on 2nd down. We'll set up 3rd and short. It's gained about 8 for Ryan.
And that's kind of what, you know, they talked about this week on the coaches show. As long as you're continuing to move the ball forward, you know, picking up positive yards, that's all you can really ask for, you know, as an offense. Instead of going backwards, you got to go forward.
Yeah, Coach already pointed out the distance they had on all the 3rd downs last week. I want to see that better. So far, 3rd and 2 here for the Boomers, trying to convert. Douglas Fisher hands off to Latal, up to get again. Latal this time able to nudge the shoulder forward and get the 1st down to the 38-yard line. Just got enough. Only gain of 3. And it's a hard way to do it, but hey, you get your yards and you get that first.
Yeah, you know, and again, we talked about, you know, yeah, they had a chance at the field goal. You got that block. It's still only a 2-possession game. You know, we kind of looked at the clock. You're getting close.
Yeah.
You're getting close to getting back up against the clock, but you're only, you know, it's only 2 touchdowns. You know, you still have plenty of opportunities.
1st and 10 for the Boomers again. Douglas Fisher pulls on the read option, has space to the 50, gets blocked 45-40, 35-30 down the sideline before he's pushed out of bounds. And do not let Ryan Douglas Fisher get in space, because he will turn on those Jets.
Man, great blocking on the outside with Colt Moore. Allowing him to kind of get that extra gear, you know, because it looked like they were going to come in, kind of get a hand on him, and Colt, you know, backed his guy all the way up off the field of play.
They get it all the way to the 32, do the Boomers, as it was a gain of 30 on the play by Douglas Fisher. 1st and 10 in Weatherford territory at 32. Fakes the handoff to Latal, goes out in the flat to Graff, trying to make a man miss. He can't. Good open field tackle back to the 35-yard line. Looked like that one would be on the tackle Preston King, the junior. On Graff, they give him about a yard, maybe a progress, so it'll be 2nd and 12. Graff usually good at shaking, just couldn't quite do it there. Good open field tackle by King. So 2nd and 12 now for the Boomers at the 34-yard line.
I'm just looking at the time here. We're midway through the 3rd quarter, and it's only 8:25.
6:16 remains in the 3rd quarter. Douglas Fisher in the gun. Back to pass again, this time looking for another slant. Connected to Graff. Tight window, and inside the 30 to the 26-yard line, complete to Graff on the inside slant. There'll be a gain of 8 to set up third and about 4.
This is something that can kind of complement Woodward. You know, as the season has went on, we've seen a lot of those balls right there and a lot of the balls being thrown be incomplete. And obviously that stops the clock, so we got these balls being completed. Clock keeps rolling. I mean that kind of tends to this game going by faster as well too. Weatherford running the ball. And
those completions, 4 good positive gains as well. It's 5:35 remains third quarter. Woodward trailing 14-0, but trying to drive. They've got 3rd and 4 at the Weatherford 26. Douglas Fisher motions Latal in the backfield. They go over the Moore, though, on the quick bubble screen. Moore going to be close to the stick, but short by about a yard. Had a couple people on him. Moore able to get a positive gain, but makes it 4th and about 1.5. Really a 4th and 1, a long one.
Yeah, we know that Ryan Douglas kind of has the leg to potentially get it there, but I think you got to go for it here on 4th down.
Yeah, for Douglas Fisher, most likely be in the range of, closer to a 40-yard field goal. If it's deep enough, you don't necessarily pooch on it. Sure enough, the Boomers line up to go for it. Shotgun for Douglas Fisher, 2 receivers, tied in to the right, 1 to the left, as well as the running back Latal. 4th and 2, got to get to the 22 for the Boomers. There's the snap, trying to go to Latal, and the handoff, and Weatherford all over it. 2 or 3 Eagles on Latal in the backfield, trying to run that dive, and I think C.J. Nixon yet again blowing that one up. So that's a loss of about 3, and another turnover on downs for the Boomers deep in Weatherford territory, unfortunately. It's kind of been the story, guys. Those situations, Woodward just hadn't been able to capitalize, unfortunately.
Yeah, and that kind of, unfortunately, where the Boomers are at as an offense, there's not a lot of options yet. We've seen the offense grow. We've seen new things, but there's just not a lot of options to go to yet. You've had Cooper where he's been able to pick up 3-4 yards here and there, so that's your best option to go to right there.
1st and 10 for Weatherford the other way at their own 27. A pass a bit high, dropped by Nixon on the bubble screen. Uncharacteristic there. That was a basketball. Nixon, who's a very great basketball player, that was a rebound. He would have pulled that one down. I'm just saying. But it is a little colder. You're not indoors. So
don't make an excuse. That's a drop.
It is a drop.
That's a drop.
But yes, even though you come out trying to defend a little.
And if anybody's seen him in basketball, yes, that's
phenomenal. God, he's a monster on the boards. It's a 2nd and 10 for the Eagles after the drop by Nixon. Chisholm in the gun. The receiver each side, tied in to the left side of the formation as well as the running back. That's Chisholm again on the QB keeper. As Levi Harris, Mason Bourne in on him, and Bourne the one able to just drag him down. Harris kind of made him juke, and Bourne able to stick to him and pull him down for a gain of only about 2, maybe 3.
Mason coming in. I don't think it was necessarily a true blitz by Mason coming in as a safety. I think it was almost a contained type of situation where, he got there on the edge. He kind of waited to see how the play developed, and then he went in for the tackle.
It's the big deal here. You really talked about this. You got to get the defense off the field now. 3rd and 8 for the Boomers. 4 minutes to go in the third quarter. They trail, for the Eagles, they lead Woodward 14-0. That's Chisholm in the gun. 2 receivers right side as well as the tight end. 1 to the left. It's Nixon. Chisholm back to pass after a motion man looking over the middle. Has the completion, but I think it's short of the stick. Trying to see who caught that one. It looks like Scammahorn maybe. And it is going to be short of the stick by about a yard as it gets to the 36-yard line. Now we'll see if Weatherford decides to do something about those 7-yard completion.
Kason Bourne blitzing there from the linebacker spot. Him and Tripp Bates caused a big, it was more Kason than Tripp, but Tripp getting back there, opened up that hole a little bit for Kason to rush the pass.
It looks like Weatherford will try to go for it. 4th and 1. Chisholm under center. 2 receivers right, 1 left, as well as a tight end right side. Back in the backfield. Now a whistle and a timeout taken by the Boomers. Coach Gordon, I believe, wants to talk about that. Sure enough, that's the case. Smith & Co. Auction and Realty, Oklahoma's real estate and land auction expert. Smith & Co. is your #1 choice for all your land auctions and real estate needs. Call 580-254-3975 or email Ira at smithcorealestate.com. And Great Plains Bank, Heritage Trust, Respect. Those are the things that make Great Plains Bank great. Deep roots across Oklahoma and Texas. They are in touch and in touch with the communities in which they live and work. Great Plains Bank, Smith & Co., powering Boomer Sports this season. As out of the timeout, looks like Eagles now maybe getting ready to punt. So we're trying to get the Boomers to jump, not the case. Coach Sosselman going to play it safe here. For the Boomers, though, got to watch out for maybe an up-man fake as well, too. Be careful of that. So 4th and 1 for the Eagles from their own 36. Crisp lined up to punt. Back deep to return is Latal. Sitting inside his own 25. And it is to Crisp, so he'll punt it away. This time, not really in traffic, has the wind behind him. Latal, it's a short punt. Latal going to back off of as it rolls inside the 30 and filled it down about the 28-yard line for the Boomers. So you get a Pioneer defensive stand to the Boomers here.
Yeah, the Boomers defense again stepped up, did their job. Now the offense has got to figure out a way to, capitalize on these opportunities with the defense keeping the opponents out of the end zone.
I don't want to be ifs and buts, but you capitalize on those two drives when you're deep in Weatherford territory. This is a 14-all game. You're trying to drive to take a lead right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, those are the things that, as you go back at the end of the season, you evaluate and you're meeting with your team, things like that. And you kind of figure out what you need to do going into spring ball, and then heading into the fall, into next fall.
First down handoff to Latal from Douglas Fisher has a spin out of a couple would-be tacklers in the backfield. Does fight forward and gets a positive gain, although only about a yard, if a half yard, for the Boomers on first down.
It's amazing where we're at with technology that when the internet is slow, you're incredibly frustrated.
Yeah, I know, right? Like, come on, be within 2 seconds. I can't wait. Back in the day, hey, if it's in a minute loading, that's great.
Right. Oh, shoot. I remember dial-up.
Yeah.
Ely doesn't even know what dial-up is.
We had it at my house, I'm not going to lie. Second and 9 for the Boomers. Another handoff to Latal, this time on a bit of a sweep. Gets to the 30-yard line, but again, spun down after a short gain. Sets up 3rd and 8 for Woodward. So 2 back-to-back runs trying to get some positive yards, but not much doing for Cooper Latal.
Ely, I was in college when dial-up was still a thing. That was frustrating. In college. You young cats in here.
Imagine trying to print out a paper when you're in college. You got to wait on dial-up. That would be horrible.
Just click print and the printer.
You had to go to an actual computer lab to do your research.
3rd and 8 for the Boomers. Douglas Fisher rolling out to his right side, looking to pass, being chased down. Floats a pass over the sideline. And, Jake Graff. And there's some action there. Graff was getting straddled by Weatherford defender and a little extracurriculars of shove and a push and some words.
Yeah, this may go actually against Weatherford. It was thrown
Preston King on the coverage, and the action was on the Weatherford sideline. Now the officials were talking about it. Pass was over the head of Graff, a little bit strong.
Yeah, Weatherford guy kind of pushed back on Jake, and about the time he pushed, they threw the flag. So I think this, unless they go with offsetting here, but this may be a case of retaliation.
So we'll see if that is the case or not, as they're talking about. There was some action there, some words, some shoves. See how they play it. A couple flags did come in. As they're having a discussion with Coach Sosselman. Now they run over and talk to Coach Gordon, as both coaches will get their explanation.
Yeah, I think this might end up being offsetting.
Can't say there was enough action to warrant illegal man downfield. That penalty declined. And now the personal foul on Weatherford and personal foul on the Boomers. That's offset, and it is 4th down.
Yeah, and I think that was one of those situations where the fact that they were right there in front of the coaching staff, they were kind of able to plead their case a little bit better.
Yeah,
because there
was a shove by Graff too.
Graff did kind of had that little shove, but it was the retaliation where the flag was thrown, but they were able to say, hey, but there was something right before that.
Right. Yeah.
Got to plead their case. And
no, I think that's fair. It is. It's one of those where there's enough to where he could warrant.
Right. It's not like it was there enough to consider for that flag to be or for the penalty to be against the Boomers as well.
So ultimately, essentially, the incomplete pass stands, and that will force another Boomer punt as they'll go 3 and out. with a minute 39 remaining in the third quarter. This game flying by, obviously more run focused.
Oh, I'm already planning dinner because it closes at 10, so I have plenty of time, I think.
All right, see then. Graff on to punt for the Boomers. Clean snap. Gets that one off into the wind. Bit of a high one, and it's going to be pushed back by that wind. Does take a favorable Boomer bounce as it lands at the 50 and then rolls forward to the 45 into Weatherford territory. The wind definitely kind of affecting Graff there. It's about 20-mile-an-hour gust tonight, and that one's blowing right back out.
Yeah, that was, a lot of times Jakes are kind of more of a line drive type of punt. That time it got up a little bit and kind of stuck with the wind.
So the Eagles take over at their own 45. They lead 14-0 over the Boomers. Woodward trying to stick in it. Haven't found quite that big turnover we sometimes see them get. They've found some good stops. See how they handle the Eagles this drive. It's Chisholm in the gun. 2 receivers right, 1 left. Running back to left side, it's Skinner. They fake the handoff to him. Now Chisholm under some pressure. Has to try to scramble away. He can't. It's a sack by Cason Bourne. It flew in all the way back to the Weatherford 35. They do give Chisholm about a yard of forward progress at the 36, but Cason Bourne, boy, he locked in. Chisholm wasn't getting away.
Yeah, the quarter made some moves, but he was there for him every time.
So a big loss on first down as Bourne gets the sack. Loss of 9, they'll say.
And this is what if you're trying to come back, this is what you need right here. Second behind the chains, for this run-oriented offense.
So Chisholm in the pistol. Will hand off to Skinner. To your point, Skinner, though, has a hole on the right side. The Boomers don't make the tackle. It is a gain, a positive one, but not back to the original line of scrimmage yet. And a good job, looked like, for the Boomers getting a hand there. Was Peyton Collier able to get the hand on initially and drag down Skinner. Gain of 6 for Weatherford brings up 3rd and 13 as the clock goes to 30 seconds left in the quarter. Weatherford will have to snap it one more time as there's only 19 on the play clock. About a 3-second difference between the play clock and the game clock.
And that sack is still helping you to this play because now you're playing the pass right here.
Absolutely.
Kind of helps you know it's coming.
Everybody stacked in tight. Weatherford likes to go with the run as, again, this time Skinner and a flag comes in late as well. And a good stick by look like Mason Arnold and maybe Colin Bourne in on that as well. No Brody Providence.
And Levi Harris delivered a little bit of a shot. Levi didn't even move on the hit. He just kind of stuck him a little bit, and the other guys brought him down. So
there was a flag early in the backfield, so this may be a hold, but Coach Gordon might decline this because the run not near enough for the first downs. It would be about 4th and 9, 4th and 8. See what the flag is. It is a hold on a Weatherford.
No, they're going to back it up.
Accepted, so they won't play the field position game. 2.8 seconds remaining in the third quarter. This might take us to the end of the quarter. Might still have to play one more. I should say. So it moves it back to the 32. 3rd and extremely long now for Weatherford. They got to get to the Boomer 45. So it's a 3rd and 25. It will have to be a play ran here for the Eagles. As Chisholm in the gun. 2 receivers left, 1 right. Running back on the left side. They fake the handoff. Chisholm look at the pass. Want to take the deep shot. It's not there. Now under some pressure. Noah Bourne on him. And then coming in is Trip Bates who gets the sack. Back at the 20-yard line, the Boomers. An impressive defensive stand, and that's how in the third quarter, Woodward will be ready to receive to start the fourth. We'll step aside. You're listening to Boomer Football on Z92 and Boomer TV.
Are you looking for a bank that understands your needs and works as hard as you do? Welcome to Bank of Western Oklahoma, proudly serving our area since 1908, offering free checking with no monthly fees and convenient mobile banking. Whether you're in Cordell, Elk City, Weatherford, Woodward, or any of our 6 locations, we're always nearby. Bank of Western Oklahoma, where the Western Oklahoma spirit is alive and well. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Life never stops moving. Between the 30-minute commutes, daycare pickups, and that weekend trip to Grandma's, you're racking up the miles. What you need is a tire that can keep up, like the exceptionally long-lasting Michelin Defender tire. With an 80,000-mile warranty and the safety you expect, you can lose track of the miles and focus on what really matters, the memories made along the way. Stop in today at 2220 Main in Woodward to see your local Michelin dealer, Pipe Lanes Tire.
This back-to-school season, give your home the connection it deserves. Go Pioneer Fiber Internet. Experience the power of Wi-Fi 6 technology for smoother streaming, gaming, and learning. And with the Go Pioneer Smart Wi-Fi app, managing your home network is a breeze. Choose from multiple plans with symmetrical speeds for lightning-fast uploads and downloads. Get your family school-ready with Go Pioneer Fiber Internet. Sign up today at gopioneer.com.
5-4 at 30-26
And
in the
back to
Hey, I've got some score updates. Let me jump in here. Yes,
Weatherford.
we had a request when we were.
And Woodward starting with some good field position as that one was punted into the wind by Weatherford. Boomers will take over at their own 45-yard line after the punt. So Eric, you mentioned that point while we were on break that, hey, accept that penalty to be able to basically force Weatherford to punt into the wind. Smart decision by Coach Gordon.
Yeah, and again, the sack, I don't think he was fully anticipating the sack the way it happened, but
on first down, Boomers trying to hand it off to Latal at the gun. He's dropped quickly for a loss of about 1. The run game just has not been there. And C.J. Nixon, team leader in tackles for loss, he gets another one for Weatherford. He is all over.
He's such a big, strong guy. It is hard to, and again, there's a reason why he is going to play SEC football.
Yeah, and you got Corbin Zamarco, young man who we believe could have some good talent, but that's, thrown into the fire right there, if you will. So 2nd and 12 for the Boomers. Douglas Fisher in the gun, trips to the left side after the motion by Moore. They'll fake the handoff, go to Moore on the quick bubble screen, trying to find some space, jukes one man, but gets to the 45, and that's about it. So back to the original line of scrimmage, and it's 3rd and long for the Boomers, gain at 2. Boomers try to get some blocks, but Weatherford on it quick. Now we're at the point where it's tough to try to play in front of those chains. Weatherford's on it early downs. 3rd and 10 for the Boomers at the Weatherford 45. Defense had an impressive stand, but Boomers haven't been able to move it quite yet. Play clock down to 10, just getting lined up. Douglas Fisher in the gun, 2 to the right, 1 to the left, as well as a tight end. Latal motions that backfield, low snap, taken by Douglas Fisher, rolls to the right side. He chunks one deep, looking for a man, one-on-one. Graft and incomplete, but a flag late. Graft might have drawn a pass interference there.
It's
close.
Honestly, I think this could kind of go either way because it looked like Jake also kind of reached up and kind of slapped at the defender's hands a little bit too. So,
but I think the case for DPI would be that the defender never turned around.
Never turned
around. For the ball.
So this could be big, and it is defensive pass interference, and the Boomers will get the automatic first down. So you take a shot on 3rd and 10 finally, and you're able to draw the pass interference. Graff fighting with the Eagle defender, gets it. Woodward gets a break.
Another thing, that was a on the run, flushed out right. That was a good throw by Douglas Fisher there,
and that was a bit of a schoolyard throw, too.
Yeah.
Went behind him and not on balance. I mean, that looked more like a baseball heave. Trying to get it from the outfield.
And we've talked about the Ryan Douglas Fisher plays soccer, but he also has played some baseball as well. So
15 yards moves Boomers to the Weatherford 30 with new life. Douglas Fisher in the gun, 2 receivers to the right, as well as a tight end, 1 to the left in the backfield. Latal fake the handoff to him, looking over the middle on the quick slant, and Graft almost able to haul in, but a tight window, good defense by the Eagles. That was a bit of a laser by Douglas Fisher trying to fit that one in. Needed, though. Just couldn't quite make the connection.
Yeah, those are the ones that's a receiver, though. There are times where you're just like, man, you're trying to get me killed.
Trying to get me killed or trying to break my hands because it starts getting a little colder. That's tough to haul in.
But we've also seen, that's kind of the MO is kind of more of a possession type of guy for Graff is, being able to get that going across the middle of the field.
2nd and 10 for Woodward at the Weatherford 30. 10-12 remains in the ball game. Boomers trail 14-0. Douglas Fisher in the gun yet again. Motion, or trying to get his man in space, and they'll flip it to Colt Moore on a bit of the reverse. Shakes one tackler, cuts it upfield, shakes it another, and able to get to about the 26. All that for about a 4-yard gain, maybe 5. Colt Moore just showing those moves yet again.
You said he shook one tackle. I think it should be known it was C.J. Nixon.
Yeah, it was C.J. Nixon.
The tackle that he shook.
There you go. That's impressive. Sophomore being able to shake an SEC defender.
And we've talked about he's shifty. He's quick and he's kind of got all that, but he's also shifty, kind of lanky, gets those hips moving a little bit.
3rd and 5 for the Boomers at the Weatherford 25, and some movement pre-snap and some false start on Woodward. Crowd affecting that one. So instead of 3rd and 5, now it'll be 3rd and 10. Douglas Fisher a bit frustrated, saying, hey guys, can't afford that one. So back up to the 30 and be 3rd and long yet again.
Yeah, one thing that I don't know if it's really affecting them, but the band hasn't stopped playing for a little while, and by rule, but again, that is one of those rules. It's not going to be called upon unless the coach says something.
Right. 3rd and 10 for Woodward now at the Weatherford 30. Douglas Fisher, empty set in the gun, rolls to the short side, the right side, looking to pass, just fires it down the sideline. That one incomplete. Was trying to catch, looked like maybe a little tall on a bit of a wheel route. That brings up 4th and 10 for Woodward. Do have the win with you, but you trail by 2 touchdowns with 9 minutes. I imagine.
Yeah, I think you got to go for it.
Territory.
Because it's getting to the point now where if we give the ball back to Weatherford, they're gonna be snapping the ball with 3 seconds on the game clock, running the ball right up the gut.
Absolutely the case. Douglas Fisher, empty set again, shotgun. Trips left, one right, rolls to that short side, looking towards Cole Moore. That one just through his hands. Good defense as well by Weatherford, who was on it tight. Moore had a shot at it, but one of those that was kind of looked like it may have been tipped early, so it affected trying to haul that in. It is a turnover on downs for the Boomers. Compass Athletics, from sports equipment to championship trophies and everything in between. Visit them 2024 Main in Woodward or call 580-256-7045. Also R5 Embroidery. When you work with R5 Custom Embroidery, you could count on a quick, fun, and enjoyable process with the results that consistently exceed expectations. Visit them 817 Main Street in Woodward or call 580-256-3579. Compass and R5 powering Boomer Sports this season.
Tyler, I want to give a shout out to Coach Norton, who did a great job of organizing the Hall of Fame banquet ceremony this past weekend.
Yes, thank you. That was for our homecoming weekend, obviously Sunday as well. Big moment. Always get to see some of the Boomer greats as far as teams, players get in, and a lot of great people honored Sunday. And that's for Weatherford. First play of the drive, 5-yard run.
Yeah, it was good to kind of see, I know the girls basketball teams from the 70s are still really close, but I think a lot of football players, they are able to get together nearly as much. They're kind of spread all over the place. So it was good to see them kind of interact with each other.
2nd and 5, they go with Scammahorn on a bit of the odd end around, had space to 50, 45, 40, down to the 30. It's a foot race to 20, 15, 10, 5, and touchdowns. The Boomers can't quite get him. The quick hitter by Weatherford. It was a 5-yard run to start, and then Sky Scammahorn does his thing. He goes 65 yards for the score. Just turn on the Jets.
Yeah, what these running backs do for Weatherford, they do really well. And we talked about how well Clinton runs the sweep and different things like that, but Weatherford, man, they'll hit the smallest holes and they'll just go. They don't make it flashy, just like the whole offense that they have.
Very much embody that. So Chavez on for the extra point again. This one up and through makes it 21-0 in favor of the Eagles. The Boomers lose their second half shutout. It was all that. With 8:10 to go in the ball game. Boomers now trail by 3 scores. See what they do, try to bring it back. Western Drug, 1021 Oklahoma Avenue in Woodward. They've got friendly and caring staff in the drive-through window that is awfully convenient. Always excellent service as well. 580-256-5586. Sealing State Bank, they've got a branch in Woodward. The new location, 2314 Williams Avenue. Sealing State Bank Woodward branch offers full-service banking, including personal checking, savings, home and commercial loans, mobile and online banking, wire transfers, and much more. Western Drug, Sealing State Bank, powering Boomer Sports this season. As Weatherford now trying to take a final chokehold on this game. As on the kick is Jake Crisp. This time lined up deep. We'll see if he gives Colt Moore another chance to return, who's been very explosive. And sure enough does. Into the wind. Actually, it's going to wind up a bit short of Moore and fielded by Colin Bourne inside the 20. Bourne able to find a nice hole, gets across the 30 to the 35-yard line before he's taken down. We'll see where they spot him finally. Boomers get it back with 8 minutes remaining in the ball game, down 3 scores. And guys, I mean, I hate to harp, but I know Coach will look at it. Eric, we just talked about a minute ago, but it's much different if it's a 21-14 game right now. You capitalize on some of those drives. I mean, folks, we hate to keep saying they're so close, but Eric, they're so close.
Yeah, you know, and I think Ely can touch on this too. He's got, you know, but God, man, they're so close to being able to put things together, but you know, unfortunately, it's the kind of the undisciplined mistakes that ultimately end up costing the Boomers.
1st and 10. They'll hand off to Latal from his own 35. Does push the pile forward to the 38. It's a gain of 3 for the Boomers on 1st down. As the clock goes to 7:45 remaining in the game. We're not quite in the instance yet where they're trying to push the pace. 2nd and 7. Douglas Fisher in the gun. 2 receivers left, 1 to his right. Latal motions out of the backfield. Look his way. Now Douglas Fisher pulls it down, trying to catch the edge on the short side. Not there as he gets pushed out of bounds. Short gain, if any, on the play. Looks like they gave him a yard to the 39, so 3rd and 6 for the Boomers. Gotta get to the 45. This clock stops with 7:28 remaining. Douglas Fisher in the gun on 3rd and 6. So we'll have 2 receivers still left, 2 to the right, tight end, left side as well. Nobody in the backfield with him. Douglas Fisher takes a snap, looking to pass, looking to that right side. A tight window caught by Latal in double coverage. That was a tight one.
That was a dangerous one. Like, that was really close from being picked off. And, you know, he put that in really, apparently the only place that Latal could get that because, you know, man, that defender, I couldn't quite tell who was in trying to kind of pick that off because there was somebody already on Latal. And then looked like the safety safety or linebacker came flying in, had a chance to pick it off.
They call it a short one as they got Latal out of bounds at the 44. Under center goes Douglas Fisher, 4th and 1. See how the Boomers play it. And he'll just try to push it himself. He reaches over the 45. Oh, this might be a tough spot. This is going to be right on it.
That's a bad spot. I'm just going to straight out say it. That's a bad spot because we're lined up.
Well, the official says 1st down immediately here on the near side to us, and sure enough, give him the first. So no argument about it. Doesn't even measure. They just gave him the 1st down.
And from where they spotted it, it didn't look like
it
was
it might have been short.
So I guess maybe the fact that he recognized maybe he shorted him a little bit. Hey, let's just give it to him.
Give it to him. Hey, why not? 1st and 10 for the Boomers. They convert on the 4th and 1. Now at the 45 in their own territory. Clock at 7 minutes. Trail 21-0. Trying to get a touchdown on the board. Douglas Fisher in the gun again. Latal with him. They'll hand off to him. Latal shakes out a couple tackles as some defenders blew by him. Gets up near the 50-yard line. Got him down at the 48. And Cooper kind of let all the chaos go around immediately and just waited it out.
Bounced it out and got away from it.
So Latal gets 4. I mean, if you can't block C.J. Nixon straight up, just try to let him run by you on the outside and just take the inside lane. I mean,
well, and I think honestly, Ryan did a good job of selling that as well. It looked like he could have potentially still had it standing back there. And
2nd and 6 for the Boomers. Douglas Fisher in the gun, fakes the handoff to Latal, looking for the quick slant to Cole Moore. And a flag does come in as Moore got kind of clocked on the shoulder before that ball even got there, so it'll be pass interference. Again, that's more of a credit to Moore for they almost have to do that knowing that's a catch and probably some big yardage.
Yeah.
They say, we'll just give you the defensive pass interference instead. So we'll be on Weatherford, move the Boomers forward inside Weatherford territory now at the 36-yard line.
That's also, one thing Colt doesn't do is he doesn't, for a kid who doesn't really have the physical size, he's tall, but he's slinky, he's not afraid to go in there for contact, and he's not afraid to go around it or go into a defender instead of going around a defender.
1st and 10, Douglas Fisher looking for a deep shot. That one well overthrown, intended for Luke Talley down the sideline. Good coverage by Scammerhorn, who had the step on Talley. So it'll be 2nd and 10. Little play action rollout. That one of the few that's kind of gotten away from Douglas Fisher there, and he got the win on the back. So 2nd and 10 from the Weatherford 36. 6:09 remains in the ball game. Boomers now kind of gets to that point. You're almost, when you get the clock running, you got to be a little quicker maybe. Because you're down 3 scores. Clock is working against you. Douglas Fisher in the gun. 2 receivers left, as well as the tight end and the running back. A little tall. 1 receiver more to the right side. Now a timeout, I believe, taken here. It is by the Boomers, as they want to talk about some alignment. So Boomers take a timeout with 6:09. M&D Enterprises and Lawnmower Shop for your best lawn, porch, or patio. M&D Enterprises and Lawnmower Shop are your people. They carry everything you need to make your greenscape that little piece of heaven you have always dreamed of. Locations in Woodward, Kent, and Weatherford. Also, Smith & Co. Auction and Realty, Oklahoma's real estate and land auction expert. Smith & Co. is your #1 choice for all your land auction and real estate needs. Call 580-254-3975 or email Ira at smithcorealestate.com. M&D Enterprises as well as Smith & Co. powering Boomer Sports this season. Now the timeout, Boomers ready to roll. Want to discuss some of those lineman things there before 2nd and 10.
Kind of vibe into the music a little bit. Weatherford band doing a good job though.
Got a little bit of Woodward pet band over there as well, so appreciate them. Good crowd for the Boomers traveling out here this one, despite a bit of the wind and the cooler weather. 2nd and 10, Douglas Fisher in the gun. Out of the timeout, waiting on the officials to give the signal to return to play. So we've got some, I think we're waiting for a ball. Yep, there it comes in from the Weatherford sideline. Boomers going to have 2 receivers to the left side of the formation, 1 to the right. Also a tight end with Roland on the left side. Swap the ball out. So there they go. So now that is settled, should be about ready for play. 6:09 remains of the game. Woodward trailing 21-0, trying to drive. Douglas Fisher motions a little tall out of the backfield. Back to pass. Initially looking left side, now for a screen to the right side with the tight end. And Roland makes the catch despite being covered up. Still loses a couple yards, but just to bring that one in despite all the contact, legal because it's in the backfield. Not bad.
Yeah. And honestly, Ryan put that kind of in a perfect spot too. It just kind of dropped right into his arms.
Unfortunately, though, it is a loss of 3 for the Boomers, so or a loss of 2, I should say. 3rd and 12 now from the 38. Got to get down to the Weatherford 20, or to the Weatherford 22, or excuse me, 26. As Douglas Fisher in the gun, 2 receivers each side, looking for the left side to pass. For Graff, that one a bit high, incomplete. Graff well covered as well. Tight window to try to throw that one into. That'll be 4th and 12 for the Boomers, probably in 4-down territory here again with 5:23 remaining.
Yeah, I think at this point, even though, like you said, 5:23 remaining, it's kind of a hard task to score 3 touchdowns, but just do everything you can to get some kind of positive momentum out of this game.
4th and 12. Douglas Fisher in the gun. Trips to the right, 1 to the left, tight end right side as well. Single man's more. Douglas Fisher loads up looking for more down that left side, and that one picked off by Sky Sammerhorn. That time played the inside of Colt Moore and got the better of it. The senior did.
Yeah, I think Holt even tried to kind of almost play defender and potentially have an offensive pass interference. He kind of reached around and pulled him down, but the ball was picked off anyway, so they're not going to make that call.
The good news for Woodward is Weatherford is deep in their own territory. They have to take over at their own 9. So kind of an arm punt almost. But the Eagles now control it, leading 21-0, 5:16 remaining in the game. I will say this though, guys, Eric, we talked earlier in the pregame about that mental block. C.J. Nixon has not dominated this game. He's made some plays, but in previous years, he's absolutely dominated this game. As Stone Chisholm under center, they'll hand it off up the gut to the Eagles.
So,
Game's about 2 or 3.
I'll argue he hasn't dominated the game, but he's made a big impact because I do feel like the defense has had to still kind of have another guy focused on him as well.
Right.
And that takes away some of the aggressiveness the Boomers defense has had in other games this year.
So it's a gain of 3 by Blackman on first down for Weatherford. Clock goes to 4:45. Chisholm under center.
Any relation to Justin? No, probably not.
As that's a handoff. This time to the outside formation, the right side again to Blackman. As he'll get, they gave him a couple more. Gets 2, they'll say, to the 15-yard line, 3rd and 5. The defense trying to come up with another stand. Only allowed 1 score in the second half, and it was a big 65-yard run by Cy Scammahorn. 3rd and 5 for Weatherford from their own 14. Got to get to the 19. 4:05 remaining of the game. Chisholm in the pistol. 2 receivers left, 1 right in the backfield. Looks to be Skinner, and he'll take the handoff, and all over him is Peyton Collier and then Levi Harris finishing that one off as well, but Peyton just blowing it up in the backfield.
Yeah, the first time we've heard his name tonight, called his name tonight, but he's affected a lot of plays tonight. And he's, over the past several weeks, he's really kind of stepped up and, made more of a difference on the defense.
He's got more of that opportunity and responded well to it. As the Boomers do force a punt for Weatherford, 3:30 remains. This will be a Pioneer defensive stand. And Crisp will have to kick this from his own end zone, about 2-3 yards in and into the wind. As Latal standing at the Weatherford 42, deep to return. Crisp does collect the snap. Boomers trying to get there on the block. That kick, though, a wobbler off the side of his foot. Bounces about the 25 across it to about the 27.
How about that for field position?
Yeah, you'll take that any day of the week. They'll say the 26 maybe, it looks like. So again, great field position for the Boomers. As the special teams guys, that's the one thing tonight. Special teams have been really solid. Like, you've gotten great kick returns out of Colt Moore. Forcing some of those punts, and the coverage there has been good.
Yeah, and we've seen that kind of be that was honestly a struggle early in the season, not necessarily on the return side, but just on the coverage side and things like that. And overall, I felt like the Boomers done a great job today.
Douglas Fisher with the handoff to Latal. He'll go up the guts, cross the 25 inside to the 24, gain of 2.
And I think that's just another example of the growth we have seen throughout the season for this Boomer team. Yeah, again, the offense struggled putting up points, but they've also done some things, that hasn't been done, other times this year. And so, again, you look at the score, 21-0. This game, unless they can score here, probably going to be, but still. It's still a lot of positive.
Douglas Fisher rolling out on 2nd and 8, looking towards the end zone, trying to find Moore, skied for it, incomplete into double coverage there. Good stretch out by Moore, but just couldn't quite haul in. Took a bit of a hit in the gut afterwards.
Yeah, he's taking some shots tonight. I mean, you can tell he's running back, get lined back up. He's struggling a little bit.
Yeah, that one was right into the gut.
Yeah, and that can be one of the cons of being your quarterback's favorite receiver. The ball's coming to you 85% of the time.
Yeah,
you're going to take some
tight
hits.
Spaces, yeah. Not that Ryan's trying to, sell him out into bad situations. But like I said, that's his guy for the most part, so don't look your way.
I'm sure Coach Gaines is probably listening to this right now and be like, oh, please don't get him hurt.
Yeah, save him for the basketball season. 3rd and 8. Douglas Fisher backs pass again, this time rolling the right side. Looking again towards the end zone, trying to get to Graff, who's fighting with the man. It's tipped and incomplete. Graff did a good job trying to track it all the way to the ground. The defender never looked back. Graff had to try and catch it over his shoulder. No flag on the play.
Yeah, Ely's back here throwing flags. I'm just kind of, my thing is why, it was really double covered. You know, you had a guy on him, you had a safety that was right there. Why make that throw? You know what I mean? Like, it's a tough
desperation, right? Like
it is desperation mode, but he looked at him the whole way.
So 4th and 8 for the Boomers, now from the 24. Weatherford territory. Douglas Fisher back to pass yet again. Scrambling to the left side under some pressure. Flag does come in the backfield. Douglas Fisher just heaves one into the end zone. That picked off by Weatherford in the end zone. And let's see who made the pick. Because it will be a touchback on the interception for the Eagles. The flag probably not going to matter. It was a hold against the defense. So this will, Okay, they signaled towards the defense, but I think they meant the offense. Yeah.
Yeah,
they pointed towards the defense.
I think with Ryan scrambling out here, it forced somebody to kind of reach up. You know, a lot of times that will happen when a guy gets flushed out of the pocket. You know, the offense will reach out to just kind of slow their guy up a little bit, and sometimes they'll get a little too much jersey.
So Weatherford takes back over with 2:07 remaining in the game. Boomers just one timeout. Weatherford leads 21-0, and Weatherford probably going to try to drain this clock as they'll be at their own 20 after the touchback on the pick. Boomers have had their chance tonight. Unfortunately, couldn't find the scoreboard. Could have if they wanted to take some of those field goals, but the situation just didn't allow for that to happen. Chisholm in the pistol. Turn, and he'll hand off to his back. Carry up to 30, breaks some tackles, gets to near the 35. A new back in there for the Eagles, as that's Victor Garcia, another senior, and he rips off a 14-yard chunk.
Mason Bourne coming downhill again, and kind of that last line of defense. And you know, I think he kind of knew that he had to make sure he brought the ball carrier down, or that was going to be a touchdown. He did everything he could to wrap up his legs.
So 1st and 10 for Weatherford at their own 34. Another handoff again to Garcia, and again off the left side, finding the hole, gets to 50 before he spun down in Boomer territory at the 49. That's a 17-yard run. Garcia with the fresh legs running hard.
Freshman Brady Province in on the tackle.
As the clock ticks to 125. Might be McSpirit in a quarterback. Can't quite see the number clearly. Tyson McSpirit, the other quarterback, looks like number 8, so we'll go with that. So I don't believe that's Stone Chisholm. McSpirit a little shorter, that's why I say that. So they'll take the snap, hand it off to Garcia yet again, this time on the right side. And we'll cut back a little bit. Gain of about 7 before he's stuck. No Bourne, and it looks like Brody Province again on the tackle.
They're not going to, I don't think they're going to, throw a flag at this point in the game for that. But Mason Boring was drilled in the back by a guy on that when he came in to make the tackle.
2nd and 3 for Weatherford. Clock down to 35 seconds. They've only got to run one more play essentially here due to the Eagles. This will be McSpirit going into the under center look. Not quite victory formation. Still Garcia in the backfield. Play clock down to 5. And McSpirit will take a knee, and that will be the ball game as Weatherford stands up, takes it home over the Boomers 21-0. They will get the win tonight and look to try to secure that 2nd place within District 1 and Class 4A. We'll step aside for a break, come back, put the post-game wrap on things. You're listening to Boomer Football on Z92 and Boomer TV.
You tackle an endless to-do list every day. It may seem like a thankless job, but you know better. It's the little things that matter most. That's why you'll appreciate the enduring value of the Michelin Defender tire.
Who can solve this equation?
Ooh! Me.
Anyone else? Fine. Jake from State Farm. Again.
Right. It's the personal price plan theorem. If you bundle your home and auto, that can equal an affordable price just for you. Bundling. Just another way to save with the personal price plan. Like a good neighbor.
There's nothing like being from Western Oklahoma. It's family and community. It's spring storms and winter wheat. It's fall football and summer baseball. And there's one bank that really understands our area. Bank of Western Oklahoma. We've been locally owned from the beginning, and we still are. When you need a bank that understands your unique life, choose Bank of Western Oklahoma, the bank that works as hard as you do. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Tires are put to the test every day, everywhere around the world. Michelin invents the tire that stays safe even worn with unique Evergrip technologies. New Michelin Premier. Safe when new, safe when worn.
This back-to-school season, Give your home the connection it deserves with Go Pioneer Fiber Internet. Experience the power of Wi-Fi 6 technology for smoother streaming, gaming, and learning. And with the Go Pioneer Smart Wi-Fi app, managing your home network is a breeze. Choose from multiple plans with symmetrical speeds for lightning-fast uploads and downloads. Get your family school-ready with Go Pioneer Fiber Internet. Sign up today at gopioneer.com.
Tired of complicated
on the board, but
in a word, resilience for the Boomers, because we've seen that improve in terms of drive to drive. They don't let things affect them. Now you just got to learn how to finish.
Right.
It seems like we're at that point where, okay, guys, you're getting through those motions. You're able to sit yourself up. Now you got to finish.
Well, and it's also, just stopping the big play, too.
Yeah.
Because, when you talk about resilience, they'll give up a big play, and then they'll come up with a stop deep in your own territory. You give up a stop, or you give up a big play and they just kind of chip away in the score. But overall, I feel like every time something bad happens, Boomers try to do something good, and they typically do kind of counter something good. Unfortunately, you got to put points on the scoreboard to have a chance to win a game.
Right.
And when you're leaving points off the scoreboard, you're going to take losses like this.
Like I said, they could have gone on the scoreboard tonight with some of those field goals, but just because of the situation, those weren't what were needed to get those touchdowns. So they tried to play that. And that does bring us to our Bank of Western Oklahoma player of the game. And we're going to go with Colt Moore, not necessarily for the receiving, but his special teams prowess, those kick returns. They dared him a couple times. He made him pay a couple times with some big kick returns. Got one to the 18, like we mentioned. I think we want to give an assist also to the special teams unit as a whole. They blocked a field goal deep in their own territory, and being able to force some of those wobbly punts and whatnot too was big. So Colt Moore getting the Bank of Western Oklahoma player game with a bit of assist to the special teams unit as a whole. The Bank of Western Oklahoma goes beyond banking. No matter where you are, the Bank of Western Oklahoma is always close. Find a location near you at bankofwesternoklahoma.com, powering the player of the game all season. And that brings us to, what's ahead tomorrow for college football. Both OU and Oklahoma State have been moved up in terms of their kickoff times. OSU now 2:30 was at 6 o'clock for homecoming, so that'll be on K101 2:30. Pregame coverage starting at 12:30 here on Z92. Oklahoma was originally 1:30 against Maine. Now it's 11 o'clock. So pregame coverage starting at 8 a.m. Hope Toby Rowland and crew get some good breakfast, because, boy, that's an early start time there for their pregame. As far as go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say I've seen Toby on those early pregame stuff. He's there at 6 a.m.
Yeah.
And so
Hunziker will do the same from the OSU side.
I mean, they get there early. So props to those guys. They work hard.
That they do. And on the high school side, Woodward competing in the cross-country state championships tomorrow. That's Edmond Santa Fe High School in Edmond.